a special presentation of ABC Sport.
Rivalries in sports evolve for many reasons. There are those like the USA-USSR ice hockey battles that follow political lines. Some, like the Giants and Dodgers, are dictated by geography, while others, like Mike Ditka and Buddy Ryan, are of a more personal nature. In Super Bowl 20, Chicago's 46-10 victory lifted Ditka to the pinnacle of his sport. But he had to share that spotlight with Ryan, the architect of the Bears' legendary defense. That was Ryan's ticket out of Chicago. He's since turned the floundering Eagles into a Super Bowl contender. The intensity that made them unbeatable together has made them bitter rivals apart. Ditka's message is clear. He's not concerned with being liked, just winning. While Ryan's style is different. He is the consummate player's coach, one who is loyal to his men and asks for the same in return. Their most memorable meeting came last December on a fog-engulfed Soldier Field, the Fog Bowl. It was a fitting stage for the Ditka-Ryan drama. When the clock struck 0, the Bears emerged victorious. From the fog that shrouded his final game of 1988, Randall Cunningham has stepped forward into a position of prominence among NFL quarterbacks. His athletic ability has always been crystal clear, making him the primary weapon in Ryan's growing arsenal. Now he epitomizes the brash confidence that has Philadelphia thinking Super Bowl. The symbol of Chicago's defense, its focus, its intensity, is middle linebacker Mike Singletary. In the Super Bowl and still today, he personifies Ditka's passion for football. Tonight, Mike Ditka and the Bears battle for a victory he wants very much. A victory his former assistant, Buddy Ryan, wants just as much. It's the Philadelphia Eagles and the Chicago Bears on ABC's Monday Night Football.
Well, I'm sitting at home, it's the best seat in the land. Do you know how long I've been a Monday night fan? I remember all the big games, all the trick plays. It's been here for 20 years, and here it's gonna stay. I gotta get ready, make everything right, 'cause Monday Night Football's coming on tonight. Are you ready for the football? Monday night party! Hey, this is Rockin' Randolph Hank, ready to get the good times started. You gotta hit 'em, gotta dock 'em, get the play called right. All my rowdy friends are here for Monday night. Everybody's alive! Hey, this is the biggest party! Hey, Frank and Al and Dan, they really got it started. Week after week, it's the time that is right. Oh, my rowdy friends are here on Monday night. Right.
ABC's Monday Night Football. The Philadelphia Eagles versus the Chicago Bears. Brought to you by Ford and your Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately? By Budweiser. Beechwood Age for that clean, crisp taste. This Bud's for you. By Epson America, the official sponsor of the Monday Night Football Anniversary Tour. And by Federal Express, the best way to ship it over there.
Welcome to Chicago on a beautiful autumn evening. Soldier Field, a live shot on Lake Michigan. And it will be jam-packed and rocking tonight. A very happy Windy City. The Cubs are in the National League playoff, and the Eagles are in town. A sellout crowd on hand. No love lost between these two teams. And hello again, everyone. I'm Frank Gifford. We're delighted you're with us. We think we have all the ingredients for quite a happening this evening. The Chicago Bears, 12-4 a year ago. They went to the National Football Conference Championship game. They lost there, but they have been rebuilding on the fly. They are 3-0. If they win tonight, they will be 4-0, tied with the Rams and the Giants as the only unbeaten teams in the NFC. Meanwhile, the Philadelphia Eagles are 2-1. Now, it's early in the season, but if they lose tonight, they will fall 2 games behind the Giants in the Eastern Division of the NFC. And the coaches will play a major role in this game. The well-documented story, Buddy Ryan and Mike Ditka, the Bears. Mike Ditka came in '82, forced to take Buddy Ryan as his assistant coach. they had sort of this uneasy piece, but in 1985 they had almost a perfect season. They won Super Bowl 22, and meanwhile Buddy Ryan has built the Philadelphia Eagles into quite a contender, but he has continued to throw the barbs at Mike Ditka. This is not a media thing. They truly, you get the feeling, truly do not like each other. And as I said, Al, all the trappings for quite a football game. We know how the two teams play. They will play in one speed, that's all out, but the two coaches will be very interesting tonight.
They will be. You know, the Eagles very much, Frank, reflect Buddy Ryan in that there's no subtlety. They're going to score a lot of points. They have Randall Cunningham at quarterback. And to use a stockbroker's term, as far as their defense is concerned, they come at you. It's high risk, high reward. And think of it this way. Last week, they played the world champion 49ers. They sacked Joe Montana 8 times, including once for a safety. They forced 3 San Francisco turnovers, and they lose the game. So last week was high risk and no reward. I don't know where the Eagles will wind up in the standings, but I predict they will lead the league in thrills and exciting games, and they play 2 beauties back-to-back. One thing about the Bears, Dan, I don't know how much excitement they'll provide, but you know they'll provide victories. It's amazing. This team has not been out of first place in the Central Division since 1983.
I guess, Al, that's a statement both about the Central Division in the National Conference, but it's also a statement as to the excellence of the Bears and their entire organization, and that goes from Michael McCaskey to Bill Tobin on down to Mike Ditka and the players. This is a franchise that is really solid from top to bottom, and tonight we're going to see a little bit of how that shows up on the field, because defensively tonight the Bears are nicked. They're going to lose Donnell Wolford, their #1 draft choice starting cornerback. Dave Duerson, the all-pro strong safety, is out. Dan Hampton, the defensive tackle, is going to try and play on guts alone. His knee is killing him. So defensively the Bears are nicked, and they're going to have to try to contain the NFL's most dangerous player in Randall Cunningham. And make no mistake about it, the Eagles are not going to try to run the ball tonight. Randall's going to try to do it all.
And when they run the ball, it'll be Randall Cunningham running it for the most part. If you have not seen him in the past, he has led this team in rushing over the past 2 seasons, has really come into his own, played the game of his young career 2 weeks ago, leading that thrilling comeback win against the Redskins. The Eagles trailed 20-0, but then the Eagles got a dose of their own medicine thanks to Joe Montana last week. Luis Zendejas, as you saw, 40% of his kickoffs have resulted in touchbacks this season. That's a high figure. And this one is taken a yard deep by Gentry. And he comes out with it to the 18-yard line, and a hard hit made there by number 54, Britt Hager. And so Mike Tomczak, the #1 Bears quarterback. Remember when they went to camp, it was Tomczak and McMahon and Harbaugh. And then McMahon traded to San Diego, and Tomczak given the lead role. Neil Anderson off to a great start this year. Brad Mustard, the second-year fullback. Morris and McKinnon, the wideouts. Thornton is the tight end. And that interior line started the Super Bowl following the 1985 season. So good and very experienced. From the 18-yard line on the natural grass of Soldier Field, over the middle, the tight end Thornton for a gain of 19 out to the 37-yard line. Tomczak making more and more use of his tight end Thornton. That's his 6th catch of the season.
One of the things Mike Tomczak is learning to do, is put a nice soft touch on the ball. And here he goes to James Thornton, who found a soft spot in the zone, lofting it right over the top of Byron Evans. A beautiful, beautiful touch pass that time by this guy, Mike Tomczak.
First down, Chicago. At the 38-yard line. That's Dennis Gentry going in motion. And Tomczak to throw again. On a roll to buy some time, and then lost it down the sideline and out of bounds. Intended for Dennis McKinnon. But he was covered, and so Tomczak throws it away. 2nd and 10. Now the Eagle defense. The excellent defensive line, led, of course, by Reggie White. Jerome Brown really coming into his own. Frankly, the linebackers would have to be described as ordinary. Joyner, Evans, and Al Harris, the one-time Bear. And the secondary is very suspect and very vulnerable, especially in the absence of Wes Hopkins. And Andre Waters takes his place at free safety tonight. Waters normally a strong safety. 2nd and 10, and it's Thornton out of the backfield and into motion. And the inside handoff to Neil Anderson for a gain of 8 out to the 46-yard line, where Reggie White makes his first tackle of the night. Anderson is averaging 6 yards a carry coming in.
Reggie White that time, I think, has to fight off the block of the lead back. I think Brad Muster. Look how they don't block Reggie at the line. There comes Muster trying to put Reggie down. He actually gets him to the ground, but White gets back up and makes the tackle. Frank, I don't know there's a more active defensive end in the league.
What an athlete he is. He goes about 290 pounds, but he will play out on the end as he was there a moment ago. Pursues, makes the stop. He'll move in and play over the center, and he's just as effective there.
Third and a long 2 with McKinnon in motion. Tomczak out of the shotgun for the first time. Plenty of protection, and then shoots one out to the 49-yard line, and the catch is made there by Gentry, and enough for a first down. He gets it by about a half yard. It was the linebacker Al Harris with him on the coverage.
Good high percentage pass to Gentry, and Al Harris, a linebacker, a very active linebacker, and of course a former Bear that went to the Eagles this past year. But you can see all the time in the world for Tomczak, and Harris, as good as he is as a linebacker, is not going to stay with the very quick and very effective receiver, Gentry.
How about the Bears and their play selection on this opening drive? Working both sides of the field, throwing the ball, rolling out, really spreading the field against the Eagles defense.
The new tight end, Camposo, he was in motion. Anderson takes it into Eagle territory, a pickup of 5. Neal takes it to the 46. Evans and Harris in on the tackle. So the ground game in gear. The Bears leading the league in rushing. And also, the couple of times that Tomczak has gone back to pass, Dan, the protection is there. The Bears have yielded only 1 sack all season.
It's no surprise, Al, with the quality of that offensive line. You talked about it. That's the starting line of their Super Bowl team, and no other group on the field needs cohesiveness, needs playing time together more than the offensive line. And the Bear 5, as they're known here in Chicago, have certainly gotten that over the years.
2nd and 5, Chicago at the Eagle 46-yard line. Again, great protection, and the pass is caught by Neal Anderson at the 41-yard line. He had to come back to get it. Eric Allen on the coverage, and he appears to be just short of the first down. It'll be 3rd and less than 1.
Neal Anderson will work on the outside, just like Keith Byers, the setback for the Eagles. But again, look at this protection, Dan. You just touched on it. Perfect. You couldn't draw it any better on the board for him. They just dropped back, gave him all the time.
It was 5-on-4, so what do? They're going to go ahead and double team Reggie White. And take a look at the experience of this group. Covert, Ports, Hilgenberg, Thayer, and Van Horn. Look how long they have been starters together. And that is so critical on the offensive line. And, of course, the Bears and their ability to run the ball consistently over the years prove their worth.
3rd and inches, and on a sneak, it's Tomczak who has enough for the first down. He needed just a couple of inches, and the Bears will have their 3rd successive first down.
And you talk to Tomczak, and, of course, you talk to Mike Ditka. The Bears are very open about it. They are moving their offense almost to a kind of a San Francisco offense, and that is very conservative, very high percentage, little dink passes to Anderson coming out of the backfield. High percentage short passing game and keeping Tomczak out of trouble. He has done very well thus far. 300-yard game a week ago.
But it's not the old Bear offense, as you said, Frank, which used to be Walter Payton right, Walter Payton left with a couple guards out front. Again, I want to reiterate, look how they're using the entire field. They really have Philadelphia off balance.
Tomczak pump fake and going deep, but nobody is there as McKinnon had cut off his route at about the 22-yard line.
I think that was such a good pump fake that even his receiver bit on it.
And, of course, big number 92 right in his face. He unloaded on Tomczak just as he released it. Tomczak had a lot of success pump faking against Detroit last week. Watch number 92 now. They don't come any better. And he gets away from the block of Keith Van Horn. And then he has that great acceleration.
Well, I guess he has some acceleration. He doesn't even start off rushing the passer. He was in a read situation. He paused on the line of scrimmage and then decided to shift gears and go get the quarterback. 295 pounds.
2nd and 10. This is the 9th play of the opening drive. And Tomczak's protection continues, and over the middle at the 36-yard line, the catch is made by Dennis McKinnon. It'll be 3rd and about 5 as we have played almost 5 minutes. No score. First quarter, great early season matchup. The Bears and the Eagles. Bears thought of as a defensive club first and foremost, and yet 102 points in their first 3 games.
They're also averaging 198 yards rushing the ball, and when you can run the ball like that, you can throw the football so easily with the play action, and that is such a major part of the Bears game. Once again, leading the league as they have so frequently in running the football.
3rd and 5. Tom Zach coming off a 300-yard day against Detroit, throws and is lucky it wasn't picked off by Seth Joyner. But the Eagles are able to hold, and the Bears will have to kick. The line of scrimmage is the 35, and they send in the punting unit.
He was trying to hook up Frank with Dennis Gentry, and Gentry, for some reason, wasn't looking back at Mike Tomczak. There was some confusion that time between quarterback and receiver. Dennis Gentry was not expecting the ball.
And Dan and Al, have you ever seen such a conservative series by Philadelphia's defense since Buddy got there?
He's avoiding the big blitz and locking his corners up one-on-one.
Well, he's given up 37 and 38 points in the last 2 weeks. Buford's kick is angled to the far side. And they'll line it up and mark it at the 11-yard line. So from there, will the Eagles take over with 9 minutes and 30 seconds remaining in the first quarter on a beautiful night in Chicago. Well, we'll keep an eye on one of the key men on Chicago's defensive line, Dan Hampton. Key man for years, but bothered with a couple of bad knees. He is in at the moment anyway to start. As Philadelphia takes over at the 11-yard line.
Dan didn't even work this week, so it's going to be questionable how long he's going to be able to go tonight.
Randall Cunningham and the Eagles. Keith Byers, one of the running backs, that is he at the top of the screen, split to the left. They use him more as a receiver than a runner. And here's Anthony Toney, who was on the inactive list last week. He was dinged and didn't play against San Francisco. He picks up about 3. Let's take a look now at this Philadelphia offense. Randall Cunningham, 2nd-round draft choice in '85 out of the University of Nevada, Las Vegas. With Byers, as we say, mainly used as a receiver. And Toney, Quick, and Carter, the excellent wide receivers. Keith Jackson, he's hurt, but is in there at tight end. And the offensive line is a little shaky. 2nd down. 7 from the 14-yard line. Cunningham going deep over the middle and incomplete, intended for Carter. And right back there with him was Lemuel Stinson, number 32, and that banged up Chicago secondary.
And you saw Cunningham on the audible there. He does a lot more audibling than a lot of quarterbacks in this league, and he does it very well. He saw the single coverage by Stinson, the replacement for Wolford, and he picked it up quickly, and he didn't get the completion, but he did the right thing.
Defensive line, again, we'll see a lot of Perry tonight, depending on how much Hampton can play. We'll watch Trace Armstrong as well, the rookie end. Singletary is the main man in the middle, and there's that secondary, minus Dave Duerson. 3rd down and 7. Cunningham stepping up, has to get to the 21 for the first down. He has that and reaches the 29, where Steve McMichael makes the tackle. So Cunningham improvising and picking up the first down.
We asked Mike Ditka today if perchance he would have a spy, somebody to kind of remain and keep track of Cunningham. Well, he did on this play. It was Sean Gale, the free safety. Randall goes back, can't find the receiver, pulls it down to Sean Gale, number 23, is assigned to be with him. He was with him, but what are you going to do?
Well, remember what we asked Mike about the cop. He calls him a cop, and he said, you know, the cop is only good if he catches the guy that he's chasing. The scheme was perfect that time. It's just that the pursuer was not up to the pursuee.
15-yard gain, and that's Carter, who is the man in motion, who gets wrestled out of bounds after a pickup of about 3 by Vesty Jackson.
And we got a good look that standing on the sideline is a dangerous occupation. One of the Bear personnel went flying on that one. Going to have to put numbers on the coaches on the sideline. Follow this play out of bounds. That's Chris Carter. Just very simple pattern. Boom. That is one of the Bears coaches, I would assume. We can't ID him from behind, but took a good shot.
2nd and 6, a fake reverse. And Higgs with the ball takes it out to the 39-yard line. Mark Higgs, second year out of Kentucky. He's just 5'7", but 200 pounds. And again, the Eagles looking for somebody to run the ball. They don't have the Eric Dickerson type back, obviously, but they have Tony and Byers and Higgs and also the rookie Heath Sherman, and they spread it out.
Al, we had anticipated this. There will be no huddle for the Eagles in this particular series. Now they're going to go back into the huddle, but they had talked about having the hurry-up offense we're seeing more of as we look again at Buddy Ryan.
And on 3rd and 1,
I don't know.
It's going to be very close. Singletary was right there.
Boy, Randall Cunningham did not make forward progress to amount to much. It was less than a yard. He needed about 18 inches to get a first down. And it's going to be extremely close. Again, this is just the whim of where the official thinks he saw the forward progress. This is where football is not a precise game.
This officiating crew tonight headed by Pat Haggerty. He's the referee. You can see the marker on the far side. They have to get to the 39.5.
Hey, officiating Bears-Eagles game is not one of the more pleasurable tasks. There is a whole lot of emotion out there on both sides of the ball.
Well, if it's an Eagle first down, it won't be by more than several inches.
Eagles, prior to this play, 7 for 7 in similar situations. 3rd down and 1 or 2 to go. And by half the football, a first down.
Your basic whim, 8 for 8.
You know, Frank touched on it at the top. Sometimes feuds are nothing but media bunk and junk and hype. But this one is real.
When one calls the other an empty can, you know it's real.
Yep.
We won't get into who called the other one.
Yeah. And this is a PG show, so some of the comments will have to go unreported.
There's Mr. Intensity.
1st and 10, Philadelphia from the 40 after back-to-back first downs. Cunningham wide open to the left. And Randall out of bounds at the Chicago 48-yard line. That, of course, the dimension that he gives you. Randall Cunningham, nothing open downfield, and off he goes. And as we say, he's the first quarterback since Tobin Rote in the early 50s to lead his team in rushing in back-to-back seasons.
Okay, he could run a circle around Tobin Rote, though. This man is dangerous. There's been no quarterback like him. Fran Tarkenton was a good scrambler, but he had not even close to the speed or the athleticism of this man. But he just changes this game.
But the key with the maturation of Randall Cunningham is, even on that scramble, his purpose was to find a place where he could pull up and throw the football. He only ran out of necessity. A couple of years ago, he ran because he didn't know what else to do. Now he wants to throw first, run second.
1st and 10 from the 48 and wide open, but broken up on the pass intended for Gizmo Williams. Vesti Jackson gets a hand on it to bust it up.
Oh, Jackson made a great play on that.
He came off his own man, Frank.
He did. He had to get back, and he just did get back there, or that would be 6 points.
Vesti Jackson did not have the primary coverage on the play. He's covering the man to the wide side, and then he makes a break. Look at Jackson come off. He's helping out Jim Morrissey. And boy, what a tremendous play by Vesti Jackson. Getting a finger on the ball and knocking it away.
2nd and 10. This is the 9th play on this drive for the Eagles. Good protection, but then it's batted down at the 50-yard line. Hampton among those who had his hand up.
I think Dan got it, Al. I think Dan Hampton got it. He stayed at the line of scrimmage and timed his leap well.
Told you about the knee. He will go in tomorrow to have the knee looked at. It was drained earlier in the week. He's had 8 operations on his knee. Look at the height. Dan stands 6'5" to begin with, but he got up there, batted it down, and not only is this year questionable for him, but maybe a career.
Hey, lots of ways to be effective. If you can't penetrate, at least jump.
3rd down and 10. Cunningham sacked at the 41. Richard Dent.
Richard Dent has been reading about Reggie White all week, and that has got to aggravate him a little bit.
Ooh, what a quick move to the outside by Richard Dent. Here's Dent right here. Watch him go up and then jump to the outside. Boy, watch this quickness. Boom, there's his quick to the outside. Boy, moves right around Matt Darwin and in on the play. That's one way to contain Randall.
John Telchik's punt is taken at the 16-yard line by Dennis McKinnon, and it was Gizmo Williams right there to greet him. So each team able to move the ball, but neither is able to get it into field goal range yet. 6:01 to play first quarter in Chicago. Al Michaels, Frank Gifford, Dan Dierdorf, Soldier Field in Chicago on this second night of October. Gorgeous evening, temperature in the low 50s, and college football coming up. USC coming off that spectacular comeback win over Washington State, hosts Washington. Regional coverage this week, Saturday, 3:30 Eastern. Some of you will see the game from Champaign between Ohio State and Illinois. And Mike Tomczak out of Ohio State, signed by the Bears as a free agent in '85, leading Chicago from the 16-yard line. Little toss to Muster, penalty flag, first flag of the game, and he's wrapped up by Byron Evans at the 18-yard line. So we'll find out from Pat Haggerty what the first call of the night is.
Illegal formation, offense.
So the penalty is against Chicago. Funny thing about the Eagles, in all of their years coming into this city, they have never won a game in Chicago, be it at Dyke Stadium on the campus of Northwestern, at Wrigley Field, the old home of the Bears, or here at Soldier Field. 0-11 in regular season play and 0-1 in the playoffs, that being the Fog Bowl.
You know, as remarkable as that is, even to me, more remarkable is the fact the Bears have won 30 of 33 Central Division games. And Minnesota's come on strong the last few years. They've just been totally dominant in this division.
Eagles elect to decline the penalty and use up the down, so it's 2nd down and 9. And Tomczak comes up short, throwing over the middle. The pressure was on that time. Anderson, the intended receiver, and Reggie White making his presence felt.
Oh, and that's Reggie working against Keith Van Horn, the right tackle. And Van Horn acted like he got hurt. Watch him lunge to the outside. And Van Horn's going to come up afterwards like he hurt his left arm or something. But, oh, Reggie White, a strong move to the inside. And he just tramples. But look how smart he was. He had the right arm in a position where he could have hit Mike Tomczak in the head, and yet he let it kind of dangle down a little bit and made contact with Tomczak's body, thus not drawing the penalty. Smart play by Reggie White.
His dangle will take it off, though.
I think Van Horn's a little hurt at right tackle.
3rd and 9, out of the shotgun, over the middle. The catch is made by Gentry. A first down, and out to the 35-yard line. He is stopped by Andre Waters. Gentry getting free over the middle on a 3rd down play.
Well-designed play. You got a cross between McKinnon, and as McKinnon crossed with Gentry, Tomczak got it in there, and of course the Eagle defender a little bit leery with all that traffic in there. Good, well-designed play.
Well, it's an Eagle secondary that has had their confidence shaken. I mean, they've had Jerry Rice and Joe Montana go wild on them. They've had problems containing the Redskins. And frankly, the more complicated a pattern you throw at them early, I think the better chance they're going to have at succeeding.
After an 18-yard gain from the 35-yard line, Tomczak fakes to the right, goes to the left, throws short, intercepted at the 42-yard line by Eric Allen. And Philadelphia has it at the 45 on a pass intended for Wendell Davis.
That wasn't a great defensive play. That was just a poorly thrown ball by Mike Tomczak. Well, I don't know where his head was on that one because he had no chance to complete it. Let's take a look at it. The intended receiver, Wendell Davis, driving hard on Eric Allen, and here the ball's in the air. And Allen's got a free shot at it. And Philadelphia gets the turnover in great field position at their own 45.
Goodyear blimp hovering above Soldier Field in Chicago. More than 60,000 looking on. And the Philadelphia Eagles and the Chicago Bears having at it. The Eagles, the only team in the league that has scored in every quarter thus far this season, all 12 in their 3 games. They have it at the 45-yard line. Cunningham on a roll. Cunningham going deep, intended for Carter. He's double teamed. It's deflected and incomplete. Lemuel Stinson almost came up with it.
Chris Carter was the intended receiver, And he was double covered, and Randall taking a chance that time, throwing right into the double coverage. There's Carter, but look at the Bears on either side. That's Stinson on the left and Sean Gale to the inside. And Lemuel Stinson very, very, very close to picking that ball off.
And the more you watch Lemuel Stinson out of Texas Tech, 5'9", 159 pounds, and he plays twice that size.
But he'll rock you, won't he? He'll come up and support the run.
2nd and 10. Tony. And he takes it out to the 49-yard line. He is stopped by Morrissey. Anthony Tony, who was on the inactive list last week. When you look at the Eagle running game, you look at the average per carry. It says it all. Tony, 2.8. Higgs, 3.7. Sherman, 3.6. Byers, 1.6.
About 100 yards in 3 games from any of them. They don't kid about it. Their offense is wrapped up around number 12.
Perry is in. The refrigerator, spelling Hampton on the defensive line. On 3rd and 6. Cunningham is 1 for 5 thus far. And he is 1 for 6 with an interception by Sean Gale, who takes it back to the 49-yard line. And so the Bears return the favor.
And I'll tell you right now, as we look at a little pushy-shovey in the middle, Ron Heller, William Perry, but give the assist on that interception to Richard Dent. Richard Dent forces Cunningham out of the pocket. And we got a lot of peacemaking going on down on the field. But Richard Dent right there, number 95, he's the guy that forces Randall Cunningham to move out of the pocket. As a result, Randall throws the ball high, and he got the interception as he intends to get it to Keith Jackson. All right, Dent's at the top of your screen. Here's the Fridge. Working inside, Mike Shadd, the left guard. The Fridge goes nowhere, except hitting Cunningham well after the play, but Richard Dent made that happen.
And the Bears take over at their own 49-yard line. So each team has had the ball twice. Each has punted once. Each has had a pass picked off. 3:34 to play and a scoreless first quarter in Chicago. Thornton in motion. And Anderson looks for blocking and picks up about 3. Taken down on a nice tackle by Clyde Simmons. It'll be 2nd and 7.
Let's go back to that interception again. Watch Richard Dent there at the top of your screen. Watch this move to the upfield and then the quick move around the corner. And Matt Darwin, and look how he forces Randall up. He forces Randall up into the pocket, forces him to throw not set. And a lot of times you'll see a quarterback, when he's taking that step forward, that's when that ball has a tendency to sail on him. And that's exactly what happened to Cunningham that time. The ball took off, overthrew his man, the INT.
2nd and 7 at the Philadelphia 48-yard line. Inside handoff to Anderson, and he's wrapped up by Jerome Brown. The one-time Miami Hurricane in his 3rd year and beginning to come into his own.
Here's so much about Reggie White, but every now and then Jerome Brown just explodes off the line.
Well, the part of it is the Bears don't block him. Watch the line here pull this way. Here's Jerome Brown, totally unblocked as he comes into the backfield. You know, this kind of a blocking scheme might work against someone who doesn't have good pursuit. But I'm afraid that Jerome Brown has got more foot speed than maybe the Bears gave him credit for in that blocking scheme.
There was a penalty against the Bears for holding, but it has been declined. Philadelphia will obviously take the play, which was a loss, and a loss of down as well. And it will be 3rd down and 12 from the 47.
Brown in the Washington game a couple of weeks ago really came into his own. He had 11 tackles on his own, had a couple of sacks. He just was everywhere. Teamed up with Reggie White, they are really formidable along that defensive line.
3rd down and 12. Tomczak from the shotgun, deep over the middle, and a leaping attempt at the 22-yard line by Wendell Davis, but incomplete, covered by Seth Joyner.
Touchy pass, Frank.
Oh, that's another one thrown into a crowd. There are about 3 Eagle defenders, and the guy who really saved it was Wendell Davis. Let's take a look at it again. It's a straight zone defense. You'll never see it any more clear than this. And Tomczak tried to get it in. Seth Joyner is back there, and also coming over to help out in that zone is Isaiah Jenkins.
Actually, Joyner, watch him. He gets a hand on the ball. It actually looks like Davis is going to catch this ball, but watch Joyner swing an arm. Now watch. right there, he actually knocks the ball away and then strips the arm down of Davis. He pulled Davis's right arm down so he couldn't make the catch.
Seth Joyner, you don't hear all that much about because of, well, mostly it's Reggie White on that defense and the risk that they do take, but he is an all-around football player, super linebacker, and heading for Pro Bowl status.
Laurie Buford, whose first punt was angled, and that's why it was only 24 yards. Out of bounds at the 11, nearly has it blocked. He draws a flag. Gizmo Williams makes the fair catch, and that's the risk you run as Izell Jenkins came in. Nearly blocked it, but instead he roughed the punter.
He didn't touch it.
Hold on a minute, Al, because this is where it could be a 5-yard penalty.
Roughing the kicker.
Okay.
Roughing the kicker.
Keep in mind, running into the kicker is only 5 yards, and that wouldn't have been a first down. But they've ruled that was flagrant. They're calling that roughing the kicker, and that's going to be the personal foul that brings the first down.
Well, he should have blocked it. He went high instead of going right at the ball off the foot. See him go up like that, you take it in low, and it's a much easier path to the ball. But it's amazing that he didn't get a hand on it, then there would have been no foul whatsoever. Here it is again. Jenkins.
I don't know. He misses it.
Unbelievable.
How does Jenkins miss that ball? But again, I'll remind you, the referee had an option there. He could have called either running into the kicker, which is just a 5-yard penalty, and it would have still been a punting situation for the Bears, or he calls the personal foul, which is roughing the kicker. And that time, it was roughing the kicker, and boy, that's a big blow to Buddy Ryan and the Eagles.
What determines it? Surgery?
And again, when you go for that block, you go for where the ball is going to come off the foot. Jenkins went up, and somehow or other the ball got underneath his left arm.
So it's a first down. Thomas Sanders is in as the running back. He has the ball and goes nowhere. It'll be second down and 10 at the 38-yard line. Reggie White still making the tackle.
He's going for riding time. He thinks it's collegiate wrestling. Reggie White building up a little riding time, maybe good for an extra point in the third period.
Delivering a sermon is the licensed minister, Mr. White.
Well, they're going to try to cut Reggie. Watch Dennis McKinnon in motion. Dennis, it's going to take a little more than that to get Reggie White on the ground. That's, I'm sure, a job that Dennis McKinnon didn't volunteer for.
Ditka said we have no plans to double team him. Perhaps he might want to rethink that.
Well, it's a new strategy, sending a receiver after him.
Second and 11, and Tomczak's throw is behind the intended receiver, Glenn Kozlowski. And again, White right in the middle of the action.
And a good read by Tomczak on the part of the blitz, but nothing doing between Kozlowski and Tomczak. Blitz was on, and Kozlowski locked up with individual coverage on Eric Allen. They both read it, and the execution was just bad.
Greg Landry, now the offensive coordinator and the play caller for the Bears, has sent it in on third down and 11 from the 39 out of the shotgun. 1:19 to play. Scoreless first quarter in Chicago. Gentry in motion. 3 receivers in the pattern, and he swings it out for Morris, and he has the first down as he gets to the 20-yard line. And again, a breakdown in the secondary that time. Eric Everett was there with the initial coverage. Morris makes the catch, and Lilly finally makes the tackle.
And I'm trying to figure out how Mike Tomczak isn't hit or sacked by Reggie White. Again, watch Reggie working against Keith Van Horn. I thought he knocked the ball originally. Boy, look at Mike just step up inside. Credit the rest of the Bear line with giving him a pocket to step up into.
And watch Morris now. He comes to the inside, pulls up. Defender buys it all the way. That's Eric Everett. And Morris, a good runner when he gets the football, takes it down inside the 20.
30 seconds to go in the quarter. Tomczak on first down. Little swing pass to Sanders, who eludes the first 2 tacklers and then takes it to the 15-yard line on what should be the final play of the quarter.
Well, we had a sound apparatus on that field because you were seeing some hitting tonight on both sides of the ball.
One of the things we want to watch for in the balance of this game, look how the Eagles have elected to keep Reggie White out rushing against Keith Van Horn. Normally in that long yardage situation, he's over the center, but the Bears have an all-pro in Jay Hilgenberg, so they're going with the matchup, putting White on Van Horn.
And he's winning it out there at the moment.
ABC's Monday Night Football returns after this message and a word from our ABC stations. And we're back at Soldier Field in Chicago. Our 20th anniversary year. And a scoreless first quarter. Al Michaels, Frank Gifford, Dan Dierdorf as we start the second quarter. It is 2nd down and 5. Chicago at the Eagle 15-yard line with Caposo in motion, and Sanders the ball carrier, and hit hard as he crosses the 15-yard line and pushed back. Take a look now at the numbers through the first 15 minutes.
Well, guess who's had the ball this whole quarter? The Chicago Bears, over 10.5 minutes. Each team with a turnover, and the Eagles, surprisingly, haven't even gotten into positive numbers, -6. They are not going to win this football game by having a lopsided balance in favor of their running game.
Meanwhile, 3rd down and long, the Eagles bring in their nickel. They like to come off this, and they might like to down here. If they can get the sack, they can move them back for field goal, but that means they get locked into single coverage, and that's when the Bears like to go to number 85, McKinnon. If he gets individual coverage, you can look for him.
But again, I'll remind you, this is always where the Eagles have moved Reggie White over the center.
Number one.
And on 3rd and 5, the Bears elect to take a timeout.
Jack Bliss.
They've come out with 3 wide receivers. Tom Zach didn't like what he saw on the Eagles side. He'll discuss it with Landry and Ditka, and we'll come back to Chicago. To beautiful Chicago in a moment.
IBM presents You Make the Call. Dennis McKinnon of the Bears fields a punt on his own 9-yard line, runs backward to the 5, and then flips the ball into the end zone, where it is recovered by Chris Martin of the Vikings. Now, you make the call. Is this a touchdown for the Vikings? What call did you make? When a punt receiver fumbles into his own end zone and the ball is recovered by the kicking team, it is a touchdown for the...
On 3rd down and 5, the Bears are going to come up with 4 wide receivers, Gentry, McKinnon, Davis, and Morris, on a 3rd and 5.
It should almost guarantee individual coverage on a couple of them.
They put Gentry in the slot to the left. Tom Zach out of the shotgun. He starts McKinnon in motion. And then, after the fake to Anderson, as a man open for the moment in the end zone. Touchdown, Dennis McKinnon.
Super play. Well designed. McKinnon in motion, turn around and went back. Came all the way across the field, but he was running with Tom Zach. And Tom Zach just did get it in there.
Well, it was a touchdown. I'm not so sure of the design. When 2 Bear receivers run into each other in the end zone, you have to assume that one of those guys isn't supposed to be there.
There's Tom Zach hiding the ball. McKinnon now is just coming into his view. It was to McKinnon all the way. Now watch this, what Dan talked about, the 2 defenders colliding, and McKinnon holds on to it. Good concentration on McKinnon.
Well, Wendell Davis thought that ball was coming to him. I mean, you had 2 Bear receivers going for the ball in the end zone. Now I know that there's strength in numbers, but I don't think that that's exactly what they're looking for. Here's Wendell Davis right here. Now he's the guy that's going to make contact. He's working against Izell Jenkins. He's breaking for the ball. There's McKinnon coming from the other side.
Wendell Davis just came back and got into it. The play actually was stretched out a lot longer than it should have been. But yeah, comedy of errors, but it pays off in a big 6 for the Bears.
+1 by Butler.
Memorable moment really wasn't a good moment. I was with the Cowboys at the time, and I believe it was back in 1970 or 71, and we played the Cardinals on Monday night television. They came down to the Cotton Bowl and beat us 38-0, and I didn't play very well. I remember the Tuesday meeting with Coach Landry. I got chewed out very much for not doing some things that I was supposed to do, and it wasn't one of my better days. But I remember that because we went on to go to the Super Bowl after that. I think we won the rest of our games.
Intercepted a pass lateral to Landry. He scored a touchdown and he chewed me out.
I think that was the game where Don Meredith set new records for network impartiality.
As he sobbed unabashedly.
It's the first time I've heard an announcer cry about his whole team getting whooped up on that bat.
Butler's kick is touched by Gizmo Williams, so it's a live ball, and he gets it out past the 20 to the 30-yard line. Almost a disaster, but it turns out to be a decent run back and a flag at the 20-yard line. He was thinking about letting it go out of bounds, and then once he touched it, it's a live ball.
Hands on the return.
And the penalty against Philadelphia to back him up. So the Chicago Bears, and remember their last drive stayed alive because of that roughing the punter penalty.
And number 58 on the return. 10-yard penalty. First down.
Remember we talked before about a secondary that's a little confused. Here's Dennis McKinnon. Watch him come in motion, back out, and then down. Mike Tomczak with the beautiful fake and out. Here's Wendell Davis over here that gets into the play. But again, keep in mind, we're dealing with a secondary that has been burned a great deal lately. And motion, rollouts, any type of confusion you can throw their way, I think it's going to be successful, and the Bears are early.
It's Byers for a gain of about 2. There's William Perry, number 72, in on the tackle. You know about the Fridges weight problem. He's weighing in at about 340.
And he's going to probably play a little more tonight than he ordinarily would with Dan Hampton hurting. I mean, they asked Mike Ditka about his stamina. He said, I don't know, we'll find out.
Well, there's never been a question about Williams' ability to play the run, and that was a good look at it right there.
Second down and 8. Little swing pass to Byers, and he's wrapped up by Ron Rivera, number 59.
Bears Travelers Man of the Year. Of course, every team has one. Player that performs well on the football field, and since he replaced Otis Wilson in 1987, Ron Rivera has been one of the unsung heroes of this Bears defense. Of course, he spends a lot of time doing community work, and once again we'll present the Travelers Man of the Year in the NFL at the Super Bowl.
Third down and 6 from the 14-yard line.
Here comes Dent again.
And Cunningham is sacked at the 5-yard line. That's where they'll spot it.
They're going to say Richard Dent had him in the grasp and control. That's Dent's second sack of the night, and the third time he's made something happen. John Roper was in there as well. There's Roper, who's down in his stance, number 55, the second-round draft choice this year. Watch him loop back to the inside. Richard Dent got the left arm on him first. Roper ends up wrapping him up, but they're going to give that sack to Dent. They'll probably split it with Roper. Both of them got there about the same time.
John Telchik, who was drafted by the Bears in '86 and then waived, a wobbly kick. Catch is made at the 36 by McKinnon, and he loses the ball, but the whistle has sounded. He was down. Dead ball, Chicago's ball. At the 36-yard line. 31-yard punt by Telchik, who has been injured. In fact, there was some speculation that Cunningham, who's a great punter himself, would do the kicking tonight.
That was very close, as you can see.
Well, the only problem is we couldn't see exactly whether or not his knees were on the ground. Really doesn't make any difference. Well, we'll know whether his knees were down here. Boy, it's tough to see. It's a moot point anyway. Once the official rules that the ball is down, the play is over. There's no disputing it.
Another risky call on the part of McKinney. McKinnon not to go for the fair catch, but he picks up additional yardage on it.
And Chicago with a 7-0 lead, and the ball at the Philadelphia 36-yard line. Fake to Anderson, and then the pass is caught by Matsui, who takes it to the 29-yard line. Big favorite. The Sui chant, 10th year out of Penn State, and maybe his final season. Brad Muster is their fullback of the present and of the future.
This is like being at an Arkansas game.
This is more of the offense we talked about earlier. There's Reggie White with the pressure, but again, high percentage stuff is not going to get you into a whole lot of trouble. And you just keep picking away. If somebody misses a tackle, all of a sudden you get a big one out of it.
That's where the fullback for the Bears is different than being a fullback for a lot of teams. You're really involved in the passing game when you're the fullback in Chicago. Not so on other clubs.
Second, a long 2 at the 28-yard line. And Anderson burrows ahead. Might have the first down. Takes it inside the 26-yard line. Very close to it. 11:20 to play, first half. Bears trying to remain unbeaten along with the Giants and the Rams.
You know, Dan touched on the quality of this organization. The Bears, they're amazing. They have 10 first-round draft picks on the roster. They have 8 second-round picks. They only have 8 free agents. You look at the Eagles have only 4 first-round picks, 5 seconds, and they have 14 free agents, including 4 unprotected free agents. from the Plan B system. I mean, that's drafting well, it's consistency, and while Ditka gets a lot of credit, and the McCaskies, they give Bill Tobin a big hand on the job he's done since 1975. They've had a great rebuilding program.
Meanwhile, the Bears have to take another timeout, the second used by Chicago. So they have just one remaining in the half with 10:42 to play in the half.
And Frank, before Bill Tobin, a lot of credit goes to Jim Finks, who used to be the GM here.
And he brought Tobin in.
Now, boys, we all subscribe to this bastion of journalistic integrity called the Weekly World News. And according to this paper, we are supposed to have some visitors up here tonight.
That is, if everyone in the country's in the right mood. They have to be thinking positive.
The only problem with this, if a alien craft should land while the Bears are driving, they're going to have to deal with Mike Ditka. And if that's the case, this could set alien relations back a million years.
This is one of those papers that nobody reads waiting in the grocery line. I know that, but it does say the aliens will be arriving at halftime. We'll keep you posted.
Our spotter, Kelly Hayes, is scouring the heavens as we speak.
Of course, Lynn Swan will be here.
From the 26-yard line. On first down, the catch is made by Gentry for a first down inside the 5.
And Izell Jenkins, I think, was looking for a UFO because he was thoroughly beaten to the outside. And
now, what are they trying to do, coming up with big passing plays while we're trying to do a UFO story here?
Look at the little move by Gentry.
What are these
quick
guys
to the
think?
inside, the break outside, and just leaves Jenkins hanging there. He's made more big plays for these Bears over the years. 5'8", 180-pounder. He runs back kickoffs. Great receiver. Once he gets the football, he's in danger of going from anywhere on the field.
Well, it's, again, though, I don't know that I'd want to play cornerback for Buddy Ryan. You're out there by yourself an awful lot.
He leaves you out there hanging. They don't get that pass rush, they're dead.
First and goal from the 2-yard line. Coming back the other way to a wide open Matsui.
Another well-constructed play to take advantage of, I'm quite sure, the familiarity of the Bears with what Buddy Ryan likes to do on defense. Nobody even in the area with Suey. Domzak again, hiding the football.
Kevin Butler hasn't missed a kick, being an extra point or a field goal this season until now.
Say what?
Yep. As usual. You say it?
All right, I want to harken back to what I said earlier about motion. Watch Camposo here in motion and how this is confusing Philadelphia. But here's Matsui, who's going to come all the way back across behind the line. And I think it's safe to say that this is a thoroughly confused Eagle defensive team right now. Matsui with his first touchdown reception since 1985. And how does a guy get any more wide open than that? And again, there's Joyner on the blitz. The high-risk Philadelphia defense gets burned once again by a beautifully designed Chicago play.
And as you know, Dan, too, short yardage defense, goal line defense will not change. You can look at it, you know exactly how they're going to react. Well thought out. Give Greg Landry a lot of credit for that, but I'm sure they looked at a lot of hours of videotape and said, hey, this is what we can do. And that has all been taken off the tape out onto the field, and it just put 6 points up for the Bears.
There's Greg Landry, the offensive coordinator, and boy, what a nice play. Well designed, and there's Matsui, who's trying to get his hair as gray as Landry's.
With Walter Payton. And those two, of course, paired in the Chicago backfield for so long. Payton retiring after the 1987 season. And some speculation that this will be Matt's final year.
Think of the yards that Payton made behind blocks by Matsui. Great all-around Penn State All-American. Subordinated a lot of talent with the good of the Bears and Walter Payton.
Butler's kick taken at the 5-yard line. And it's Mark Higgs who gets wrestled down by Kozlowski out at the 23 with 10:22 to play in the first half. So Cunningham off to a staggering start. Randall had a career day 2 weeks ago against Washington. Had a rather ordinary day against San Francisco last week. And is off to a poor start, at least passing, tonight.
You know, the scary part about him, if you happen to be a defensive player, a defensive coordinator, is that he is so explosive. It takes him one play. He'll scramble around, drop a bomb, scramble around, pick up 30, 40, 50 yards. All of a sudden, he's in your end zone.
First down, 24-yard line. His third completion. It's Mike Quick at the 31-yard line. Mike Quick is a guy who's been voted to 5 consecutive Pro Bowls. He's had a wonderful career. This is the first time he has ever played on Monday Night Football in his 8th season in the league.
And, of course, that's because he missed last year's Monday night game where the Eagles beat the Giants. Randall Cunningham with a great play. Mike missing most of last year with the broken leg, but he has rehabbed it beautifully and a very talented man. And those are the best eyes in football.
2nd and 3, and coming out of the backfield is Anthony Toney, who is almost tackled for a loss. Instead, it's about a yard gain. Morrissey makes the stop at the 32. It'll be 3rd and 2.
You know, I guess celebrities have perfumes and scents and whatnot, but if we could get the essence of Singletary and bottle it, label it intensity and sell it, you'd have something unique.
Look at concentration. He runs it all in there.
Quick count on 3rd and 2, and seeking the first down. It's going to be real close on the spot. Anthony Toney, who has to get, as you can see, to the 34-yard line. And we'll see where they spot it. Referee Pat Haggerty. 9:09 to play in the half. And I don't think from here he has it.
And the Eagles are in dangerous territory. They desperately needed their offensive team to grind out a couple first downs, give their defense a chance to settle down, regroup over on the sideline, try to gather themselves. And this is a case of an offensive team not helping out their defense whatsoever. Good 4 or 5 inches short, and Buddy has no choice. He's got to kick this thing away. No choice whatsoever. Unless he elects to run a fake punt here.
Or come up to try to draw him offside. What the Rams tried to do yesterday against San Francisco.
Randall will be in there to do the punting. Their punter last week on a fake punt hurt his knee, and we were watching Randall last night. There's nothing this dude can't do.
Well, look how the Bears are responding, though. They're leaving their #1 defensive team on the field. Hampton's in there, Dent's in there. They're not playing punt. They're going to go ahead and play this as a regular defensive down.
Well, you saw it last year, all 3 punts,
look at this.
more than 50 yards. This is a beauty. And a fair catch is called for at the 21-yard line by Dennis McKinnon. So let's see, the line of scrimmage was a 34. That's 16 plus 29 for 45 yards on that kick.
It's not like he's a novice punter. He was one of the nation's leaders when he was at Nevada, Las Vegas. So he's no neophyte to punting.
He was also kicking field goals last night from 45, 47 yards out and hitting with regularity.
A week from tonight, the Meadowlands, and a couple of teams in dire need of a victory. The way things have started for the Los Angeles Raiders and the New York Jets, and that's our matchup next Monday night.
Bo will be a week away, I guess, from that one.
Yep, at least.
Maybe we could call him up and ask him to play.
Please, Bo.
Mike Shanahan might. From the 22-yard line, this is McKinnon on an end around, and a flag is thrown well after the play. Byron Evans in on the play, and it's a holding call against Chicago. Tell us, Pat.
Holding, number 80, offense, still first down.
James Thornton, he's got his arms can do a lot of holding on you.
This is where the Eagles can really beat up on you. They get you down deep. It's where they like to back it up with a blitz. They're the king of the turnovers. It is high risk, but they love to go for you down in this area. Good shot of Tomczak.
Talking about Thornton and holding. Might have the biggest pair of arms in the NFL right now.
Get the impression he wouldn't play if he had to wear a long sleeve shirt. He has got some major biceps.
First and 20 from the 14-yard line. Tomczak sets up a little screen, and as it turns out, that's probably the best thing that could have happened. A little one-hopper to Anderson to avoid a loss. 2nd and 20. Mike Ditka, hard to believe, a year ago, a heart attack. He was a little bit more mellow on the sidelines last season when he came back, but the old Ditka has returned.
Yeah, he was hardly what I would call mellow this morning. Hey, Mike gets fired up for any game, but as we touched on early, this is the Eagles, this is Buddy Ryan. It doesn't take a lot to flip his switch.
We had coffee with Mike this morning. It wasn't quite a coffee clutch, though.
Well, I don't know if you got offered a cup. Mike drank a lot. We got nothing.
Second and 18. As Tomczak hits Thornton.
Who doesn't want to go down.
Nope. Up at the 30-yard line.
2 guys on each arm. And it's still a mismatch. Look at the guns on this guy. He's developing into a pretty good tight end, although it was his holding call that put the Bears back into this situation. But for those big arms, he's got soft hands. They don't necessarily seem to go hand in hand. How you like a hand in hand?
Look at design play again. We keep talking about Reggie White being over the left side of the Eagles defensively, and Greg Landry at that time had Tomczak rolling away from Reggie White, giving him plenty of time to look downfield and find Thornton.
3rd down and 2. Tomczak to McKinnon. Spin move at the 40 to turn it into 6 extra yards to the 46. And McKinnon thinks he got a late hit. Everett and Waters converging on the tackle.
And what a beautifully designed passing attack the Bears are unleashing on the Eagles here so far this evening. Andre Waters and his friends in the Bears secondary are just at a loss at trying to cover this up. Ooh, and there's a late kick. Boy, look at that. Boy, that's Andre Waters, I believe. Dennis McKinnon trying to get up. There's Waters. Boy, and that's an intentional shot right on the chin. Andre.
No flag from the 47-yard line. 1st and 10 Chicago, and there was movement in the backfield. So the penalty is against Chicago. Muster was the ball carrier. Reggie White makes the tackle, but Neil Anderson was in motion prior. .6:34 left in the first half. Chicago on top 13-0.
Illegal motion, number 35, offense, still 1st down.
You know, Andre Waters at the end of that play came in and gave Brad Muster a pretty good shot right in the back. Andre Waters, one of the more aggressive members of any secondary here in the National Football League, but also prone to being a little wild, being a little late, and again, that -6 stands for Philadelphia.
Just ask Jim Everett about Andre Waters.
There was a lot of controversy about whether it was an intentional shot going for Jim Everett's knee by Andre Waters.
1st and 15. Little dump pass over the middle. Thornton and Byron Evans gives him a little bit of the business.
Boy, good coverage by Evans. He was all over Thornton. I think some of the crowd here thought that was interference. Again, just good, sound defensive coverage, Frank.
And again, Tomczak goes down. Reggie White not getting to him, and give a lot of credit, and we have been, to that Bears offensive line. Over in the right side, Keith Van Horn has been about as busy and as visible as a tackle will ever get dealing with Reggie White, but he's doing just enough of a job to let Tomczak go with those high percentage passing completions, and they have been able to control the game with it.
That pass was incomplete. It's 2nd down and 15 from the 42-yard line. Blitz, but Tomczak unloads, and then it's dropped by Muster. Todd Bell, the former Bear, coming in on the safety blitz, forcing Tomczak to get rid of it. It's 3rd down and 15.
Brad Muster really, when he came out of Stanford as the Bears' #1 draft choice last year, was really known for his abilities to contribute to the passing game, and he'll be the first to tell you that it's been a rocky year so far. He really broke out of it with a good rushing day last week against Detroit, but catching the ball, he's been dropping some wide open passes, and I think it was obvious to see that it's frustrating to him as well.
4 wide receivers. Tomczak from the shotgun. 3rd and 15 from the 42-yard line. Tomczak fires over the middle, too high, intended for Morris, and he was surrounded by 5 white shirts. So it'll be 4th down, and the Bears will be forced to kick with 6:01 to play in the first half. Mike Ditka took over here in 1982. He inherited Buddy Ryan. He had no choice. Hired by George Halas, and Ryan came with the package and remained under Ditka for 4 years. And then it was Ryan who got his chance to become a head coach under Norman Brayman, the Philadelphia owner, in 1986.
I think we've touched on, but they've met 3 times before since then, and the Bears have won all 3 of them. But they still continue to needle each other, throw the barbs back and forth, and keep it alive.
Buford's kick out of bounds at the 20. The loop by Connaughton.
What a skyline. Is that beautiful?
Bearstown. Hubstown. 13-0 Chicago.
Sonotstown.
College football Saturday.
13-0 Chicago, and Philadelphia will have to kick. And Philadelphia looking for the same type of comeback they had 2 weeks ago at Washington when they were down 20-0.
But that's an offensive formation where the Eagles could do a lot of things other than kick.
This is Cunningham.
Nice kick.
And a beauty because it will be down inside the 10-yard line by Gizmo Williams, who touches it at the 7. So Chicago has the ball, 1:46, and the Eagles figure to take their timeouts defensively. The Bears have just 1 timeout remaining, and we can tell you that coming up this weekend on ABC Sports, college football action beginning at 3:30 Eastern Time. The Huskies of Washington take on Frank Gifford's alma mater. Frank recently making a major contribution toward construction on the USC campus.
Heritage Hall.
18-17.
Quite proud of that.
Both of those
beat Washington State on Saturday.
And both of those head coaches were both college coaches of mine. Larry Smith and Don James were both at the University of Michigan.
That's one regional game, and the other is Ohio State meeting Illinois in Champaign. First down Chicago from the 8-yard line, and this is Neil Anderson looking for some room and taking it out to about the 11-yard line. And let's see if the Eagles want to stop the clock. Reggie White in on the tackle. And there is no inclination on Philadelphia's part to stop the clock.
I think what we're heading for is a massive rethink on the part of the Eagles when they go in at halftime. And I don't know what they can rethink, because this is just a well-executed game plan offensively for the Bears and a total domination defensively by the Bears.
Let's see what happens on this play. They may take a timeout after the second down play.
2nd and 6. That is if they can stop Anderson, well short of the first down, but now it's 3rd and about 2 upcoming as he takes it out to the 16-yard line. And they're going to let it now. Buddy Ryan says we'll take the timeout. Buddy said you should have taken it at the end of the play.
Yeah, not great clock management there by the Eagles. Ooh.
So 48 seconds remaining now in the half. Philadelphia has 2 timeouts remaining. It'll be 3rd down and 2. The Eagles have not been held scoreless in the first half since 1986, in November of '86, that day against the Giants. And as we mentioned, coming into the game tonight, they had scored in each of their 12 quarters this season against Seattle, Washington, and San Francisco.
Well, they still have time to get points on the scoreboard here if they could just keep the Bears from getting a first down. And there is Jim Belushi, younger brother of John, and of course a tremendous Bears fan. Jim Belushi travels with the Bears, catches all their games, and some sports town here in Chicago.
Boy, what a week, huh?
What a year it could be for them. The Bears obviously are going to be major contenders down the line. The Cubs might be attracting you back here for the World Series now.
We will be here, or not here, we'll be somewhere for the World Series on Saturday night, October 14th.
You almost were in Toronto.
Northwestern threatening to win the Big Ten.
Say what? 3rd down and 2 from the 16, and Tomczak slips. He is down at the 11. Now the Eagles will take a timeout, and they'll get the ball back.
Boy, but again, the Eagles waste 3 or 4 seconds in calling a timeout. I mean, if I'm down 13-0, it should be 14. The missed extra point, down 13-0, I might be showing a little more sense of urgency than the Eagles are showing right now.
Between the third and the fourth down, they wasted about 10 or 12 seconds.
Any sort of a decent punt return at all here, and the Eagles are going to have a nice scoring position. 1 or 2 plays, plenty of time to do it. Oh, I wouldn't roll over and play dead yet, guys.
They'll have 1 timeout remaining, 39 seconds on the clock. Ted Plum, the offensive coordinator, Randall Cunningham.
And that's who I'd be talking to there as well, 82, Mike Quick.
Ted Plum, of course, was with the Bears, with Buddy Ryan, under Mike Ditka.
Eagles, last 4 regular season games when trailing at halftime.
Well, they got themselves set up perfectly.
We'll see if Gizmo here can dip into the old toolbox and come up with something.
Maury Buford's kick is a line drive, and Gizmo has to run over, and then he fields it on a bounce and gets buried by Ron Morris. Ooh. At the 40-yard line. So here comes the Bear defense. Ryan left, Tobin took over. The Bear defense hasn't missed a beat. William Perry seeing a lot of action tonight. Fridge is back in. We mentioned the Fridge at about 340 pounds. And Dan, you know how hard it is to take off weight. They've had him on diets at eating disorder centers. He's tried everything but the Anushka Institute. Has the Fridge.
How dare you bring me into this conversation? I know nothing of the kind. What are you talking about?
I meant Dan Daniel. The catch is made by Keith Jackson.
I do have a legitimate question, though, Dan. Seriously. If you weigh over 300 pounds, what do you weigh yourself on?
I don't know. Ask somebody else.
What do you mean?
That's a legitimate question.
The Eagles are at the 50-yard line. I know that. The Eagles are at midfield with 26 seconds left, and I resent this a great deal.
I guess you could go down to the ice house.
Oh, aren't you cute?
I'm out of it. 2nd down and 1 from the 50. Cunningham throws to Byers, and Byers will get out of bounds at the 43-yard line. 20 seconds remaining. Again, the Eagles have 1 timeout. Lemuel Stinson with the coverage. Their kicker, Luis Zendejas, has been very good. Good long-range kicker. And right now, of course, they're still out of field goal range. There he is warming up.
If you go by the flags at the top of the stadium and also the flags on top of the goalpost, then Dejas, if he gets a chance, would have to kick into the wind.
1st and 10 from the 41. Cunningham scrambling and stops the clock by going out of bounds at the 38, but now he's down to 12 seconds.
And when those 10 or 12 seconds look good back up on that clock that they wasted before they chose to call the timeouts a few moments ago.
That's an excellent point, Frank. That's an excellent point. We brought it up at the time. You know, you talk about urgency. You talk about a second here, a second there. The Eagles easily have squandered 10 seconds in the exchange, getting the ball back from the Bears when the Bears were back by their own goal line.
You saw Zendejas warming up. His longest field goal, 50 yards, the longest of his career. Cunningham. And Jackson can't make the one-handed catch with 8 seconds. That would have gotten them into field goal range. Right now, they're just out of it.
And he was wide open. Keith Jackson was wide open, and Randall just led him a little too far. Look how open Jackson is. Oh, and that ball just a little too far out in front. Tremendous effort by Keith Jackson. He just couldn't bring it in.
He is your man when they flex Jackson out. Well, his rookie a year ago, they moved him out to the right. I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't come right back with it. Number 88.
Got to be a quick pass. There's no time for Randall to scramble here.
Can't take 9 seconds, that's for sure. And it's nearly intercepted. Lemuel Stinson had it in his hands and dropped it on the pass intended for Jackson. So now the line of scrimmage is the 39. If you're thinking field goal, it's 56 yards.
And let's go back again to how lethargic the Eagles were. They have cost themselves a play. They have cost themselves 1 full play here, with there only being 3 seconds left on the clock.
Right now, they got to take it up into the end zone.
Oh, yeah. Every team has different names for this.
Looking for the defensive foul. Time can't run out on a defensive foul.
But it's known as a Hail Mary. There's a marker down.
It's out of the end zone.
9 players in the end zone.
But reminder, we do have a flag at the 40-yard line, and a half cannot end on a defensive penalty. If this goes against the Bears, one more play against Eagle, half is over.
Men on the field. Defense.
And it does.
Half is over.
Wait a second. No,
that can't be
not
right.
if it's on the defense.
How's it, Pat? I think you better back up, pal.
They'll back it up.
Unless you meant offense, Pat.
Oh, they're correcting right now.
Hey, you got one to go. One to go. 12 men on the field. Defense. One more play.
Yeah, there we go.
There you go, Pat.
Boy, you got my heart up in my throat there, Pat.
Your heart.
I thought they changed the rules without telling me, and Buddy's heart as well, I'm sure. That's a no-no.
It's a 5-yard penalty, so the ball's at the 34. If you're thinking field goal now, 51 yards. But they're going to go for 6.
Well, if you were on an artificial surface, they might let him go for it. Out of the natural turf, it's against the wind, a little too much, they figure.
As we mentioned twice, he has made 50-yarders in his career, but they'll go for it on the 1 play remaining. And Cunningham with 3 receivers and 6 defensive backs in the end zone.
I think it's intercepted.
Yep, picked off by David Tate. And the Chicago Bears leave the field at halftime, attempting to remain as one of only 3 unbeaten teams in the NFL after week 4, along with the Giants and the Rams. At the half in Chicago, the Bears lead it by a score of 13-0.
We're back in Soldier Field in Chicago. We hope you're enjoying our game. The Philadelphia Eagles and the Chicago Bears. Hello again, everyone. As you probably are aware by now, to help mark our 20th anniversary season of Monday Night Football, we're making it possible for each of you to reflect back and then vote on some of our more memorable moments over the years. Tonight, and again, what a kick it was to come up with the contenders, we're going to let you vote on the best sack we've seen over those years. Here they are right now. In 1983 and 1984, Mark Gastineau of the Jets was the best pass rusher in the NFL. He had 41 sacks. He showed us his stuff in Buffalo back in the days when sack dancing was still legal. Gastineau, there he goes.
Here he goes in the boogie land. This is what he was doing at Studio 54 the other night.
He just ran right over Justin Cross, who was trying to fill the big shoes of Joe Devlin. No one ever hit a quarterback any harder than the Steelers' Jack Lambert. Turk Schonert of the Bengals found out one reason why Lambert was named to 9 Pro Bowls. 3rd down and 3 now for the Bengals. Blitz again. Down goes Schonert. Jack Lambert totally unimpeded as he came on the blitz.
What do you... I mean, that's got to be scary. You know, you go back there and Lambert beats you back to your setup position. Get out of here.
We've got smoke coming out of those nostrils, too. He makes a lot of noise out there. On this next play, watch Mel Kaufman, who will be blitzing from the outside linebacker position at the top of the screen, as he leads a charge of Redskins against the beleaguered Phil Simms of the Giants. 3rd and 10, and Simms will be sacked. Was he hit in the end zone and taken into the end zone? There still is no indication of the safety. He was hit about the 2-yard line. And I told you it was a bitter rivalry, and it was Mel Kaufman on the blitz who got to Simms first. In the first 7 years that the NFL kept track of sacks, no one had more than Lawrence Taylor's 89. So pity poor Randall Cunningham as an unblocked Lawrence Taylor pours in from the blind side. Look out, inches on Lawrence Taylor. Finally gets to Cunningham. Before he could move out of the pocket, Taylor was there showing all the speed that few people have at that size.
Well, it was always my dream to be a linebacker and get the blitz, and nobody blocked me.
Okay, now to enter your vote, just call 1-900-339-1ABC. Your call will cost just 95 cents, and a portion of each call will be donated to the United Way. If you get a busy signal, keep trying. Our lines will be open throughout the game. Soldier Field in Chicago once again. The Bears over the Eagles 13-0 at halftime. As we mentioned earlier, if the Bears hold on to win tonight, they'll join the Giants and Rams as the other undefeated team in the NFC. Yesterday, the Rams, with another fine performance, defeated the 49ers in the final seconds. Then Swans with Rams quarterback Jim Everett, who had yet another outstanding day for Los Angeles. Lynn?
Thank you, Frank. The San Francisco 49ers got a taste of their own medicine yesterday as Jim Everett and the Los Angeles Rams staged a dramatic come-from-behind victory in the final seconds. The Rams scored on the 65-yard touchdown pass in the second quarter from Everett to Willie Flipper Anderson. But the 49ers, thanks to 4 field goals by Mike Hoffer, came back and led 12-10. Then, with 2:59 remaining, Tom Rathman fumbled, the only turnover in the ball game, and the door was open for the Rams. Enter Jim Everett. He hit 6 out of 7 passes, 73 yards, and set up place kicker Mike Lansford, who boots the game-winning 26-yard field goal. Final score, Rams 13, Niners 12. Joining us now is the NFL's top-rated passer, quarterback Jim Everett. Jim, thank you for being here.
Good to be with you.
The game yesterday, that opened the door to credibility and all the respect that the Rams and you seem to be lacking to some degree.
Well, this is a big time for us. I mean, to be able to go up and play San Francisco's type of game against them was big. And we have a lot of young guys in this ball club, and I think it just helps build our confidence.
Jim, when you walked into the huddle, time was running out. It's a final drive, your last chance. What was it you said to your team? What was the attitude in that huddle?
You know, I got in the huddle, this is quote for quote. I said, guys, look around. We're on national TV. We're playing our most bitter rival ever, and we have an opportunity to win the ball game right now. And, you know, we just kind of smiled at each other and said, let's go get it done. And it was such a feeling, it gives you goosebumps.
Jim, was this the biggest game of your career?
Since my career has been here. I mean, we've had big games and not had the finish that we had. We finished this game and we won, and that was the key thing, something that we haven't had the ability to do, at least while I was here. It just shows the whole team confidence in what we can do. There's a good feeling around here, and I'm not talking about an overconfidence, just a confidence that we can win ball games.
Jim, when you're on the sideline and you're watching Joe Montana do his thing, what goes through your mind?
Joe Montana is a legend, and I look up to him as kind of a hero, because when I was growing up, he's the best. You know, seeing him and having a chance to beat his football team is probably one of the biggest things that I've been through.
Do you have an idol?
I used to, I think, as far as the toughness of a Terry Bradshaw and the smartness of a Roger Staubach. And to believe it or not, but Lenny Dawson was my idol as growing up.
It's not a bad one.
Yeah.
Not a bad one. Do you now feel like your personality is firmly stamped on the offensive unit?
I think so. I like this team a lot. We've got a bunch of great people that we're working with that enjoy football, and it's fun playing here. And if that's part of my personality that's stamped on it, then so be it.
Okay, Jim. Thank you very much.
All right, thanks, Lynn.
We'll be back with more halftime after this word from our ABC stations.
Back in Chicago, Mrs. O'Leary's cow couldn't take care of the water tower, still standing on Michigan Avenue in the heart of this beautiful city. And back we come, not to the Coliseum in Rome, but to Soldier Field. And a look now at the 2 touchdowns in the first half.
This one, a pass to Dennis McKinnon, almost broken up by his own receiver, Wendell Davis, but Dennis holds on to the ball, and that gave the Bears a 7-0 lead, and then they come back with this beautiful piece of motion. Matt Suhey coming across the backfield wide open, and Mike Tomczak, his second touchdown pass of the first half, and Kevin Butler missed the extra point, and thus our 13-0 halftime lead by the Bears. And one can only wonder if the Eagles offensively, Frank, are going to be able to shake this. They were miserable in half number 1.
Kevin Butler to kick it. And it's Henry Gizmo Williams, brought down out at the 27-yard line by Maurice Douglas. And here is Randall Cunningham, 7 for 19 for a total of 51 yards with 2 interceptions. He's carried the ball 4 times for 32. And there are the numbers through the first 30 minutes.
At least getting the Eagle passing game into positive numbers. Well into the second quarter, they only had -6 passing yards. Tough to lay it all, though, at the feet of Randall Cunningham. He's gotten 0 help from his Eagle offensive teammates.
1st and 10. Eagles from the 27-yard line. Cunningham, who was under wraps, throws, and it's picked off at the 45-yard line. Lemuel Stinson.
And that, remember how I talked in the first half, how Randall Cunningham is running, but when he's running, he's always looking to throw. Frankly, I think there's an instance where he should have kept on running. He might be thinking too much now about passing.
He tried to force that into Chris Carter. There was another Eagle receiver there. That brought in 3 or 4 Bears. Mike Singletary is back there right into the pass. There's Carter, number 80. Actually deflected that ball a little bit.
Somebody better tell Chris Carter, though, that when the ball's coming your way, the object is to catch it, not duck. Mike Singletary gets a hand on the ball, and Chris Carter ducked to keep the ball from hitting him.
Hand off to Neil Anderson, who takes it to the 41-yard line for a gain of 2. Mike Pitts in on the tackle. Here's the play again.
You can look at it again. Now, Singletary will drop right in there. Here's what you're talking about, Danny. Perhaps would have been better advised to run the football as well as he can run it. There is the block by Singletary, and Chris says, I want nothing to do with this. It's a little crowded in here. A lot of feet in here.
Chris, you got a helmet on. I mean, it's not going to hurt you.
Oh, well, that would be tough to look at in the tapes.
Ooh,
with all your guys with you.
Granted, it's an instinctive reaction, but still.
In another sport, maybe.
2nd and 7 from the 40-yard line.
Yeah, boxing, maybe.
Or water polo or something.
Anderson gets 2 to the 38-yard line.
Well, whatever Buddy Ryan drew at halftime, that weren't it. That was not the way the Eagles wanted to open up the second half. And we've got an Eagle player down on the field struggling to get up. That's Todd Bell, who's prone.
And they're already -1 starter in the backfield in Wes Hopkins. And now Bell, the former Bear, who was here, you'll recall, in '85, both he and Al Harris sat out the season. Bears won the Super Bowl anyway. Now they're both in Philly. Time out on the field, early 3rd period. 13-0, Chicago.
Folks, that's Todd Bell to the left of your screen. I'm going to tell you ahead of time, he takes a real shot on his left knee, and if you're squeamish, don't look. But we've got an obligation to show you the injury. There he takes a blow to his left knee. You see the knee totally collapse, and Todd Bell is still down on the field. And it's foolish for us to speculate, but that's as severe a shot as I've seen someone take on their knee in a long time.
You know, you almost hate to replay, but like you said, Dan, it's almost a responsibility.
We have a responsibility to show it to you.
You knew right away he was hurt rather badly because the trainers and the doctors were coming onto the field. They had a real good view of it, and they knew what we just saw again, that's a bad injury.
Well, they're missing both of their safeties now as they wheel Bell off. Hopkins is hurt as well.
Al, the only thing I can say about that is we hope that he's not hurt as badly as it looked. The shot, remember, that Shane Conlon took a couple weeks ago in the game in Buffalo, I would have speculated at the time that he would have had to have surgery. It proved he didn't have to. He's out for 6 weeks, and we can only hope something like that for Todd Bell. But that's a serious shot he took on his left knee.
Precisely. 3rd down and 5, and Tomczak's pass is incomplete, intended for Morris. And the Bears will have to kick. So Maury Buford comes in to do the punting for Chicago. And Gizmo Williams stands back at his 10-yard line. Williams played in the USFL, in fact, with Reggie White in Memphis for a year, and then up to Canada. Buford was here with the Bears a few years ago and has been at least in the camp of 7 other teams in the interim. And back he's come. A short kick that is down at the 11-yard line.
Well, Gizmo has to handle that ball. I mean, if Gizmo is choosing to not return it, Gizmo has to get up there and at least fair catch the football. That was a high kick. He had plenty of time to get underneath it, and he could have saved his team a couple of yards, and if that had taken a big Bear bounce,
he got a big break out of that.
Could have been real problems.
That could have been inside the 5 and easily covered by the Bears.
Yeah, I'm going to speculate that he could have fair caught that up somewhere around the maybe 15 to 17-yard line.
Eagles have it for the second time in the second half. And Cunningham to Byers. And Byers out to the 27-yard line where Mike Singletary makes the tackle. So Randall Cunningham picks up the Eagles' initial first down of the second half. 13 minutes to play in the third period. 13-0 Chicago.
Well, that's the best looking offensive play of the day for the Eagles. And, you know, as badly as they're being beaten up, 2 touchdowns puts them in the lead. If I was Mike Dick and the Bears, I'd be a little uncomfortable with that.
Draw play to Anthony Toney, the fourth-year running back out of Texas A&M, and he's wrapped up by Jim Morrissey. And again, per usual, the Eagles really unable to get anything going on the ground tonight.
I mean, there have been teams, and guys, I'm not trying to overhype the fact that the Eagles could come back and win this ballgame, but there have been teams who've been beaten up far less than the Eagles have in this game so far that have been trailing by 4 touchdowns. And they're down by only 13. Who's the superstar coming into this game? Hint, it wasn't the guy on the bottom.
2nd and 8. Keith Jackson, flag. He has a first down out at the 42-yard line.
That will probably be for a face mask.
Good pickup and read on the part of the Eagles. Singletary on the blitz from the middle linebacker. They picked him up. And Cunningham was able to deliver the ball, get it to Jackson, and they're going to have a face mask, and you're going to see it right here. This is Tate filling in for the injured Dave Dorson. There is little or no question on that.
And that's the inadvertent kind. I would assume they'll only tack on the 5 yards onto that because he didn't grab the face mask and hold on and snap the head.
But 2 things now worked well for the Eagles offensively. They were able to get Keith Byers out in the flanker position. They got a lock up there with the safety man Sean Gill. That's what they wanted. They hit him for a big gain. They read the blitz against Singletary, and they were able to get the ball to Jackson.
From the 48-yard line, Cunningham fires to Keith Jackson, and he has a first down. The second-year tight end out of Oklahoma. Went to the Pro Bowl last year. Takes it inside the 40, putting the ball in the face of Tate.
Hey, Jackson caught that out of self-defense. Cunningham drilled it in there. He was covered well by Tate.
That's one of those passes that if you don't catch it, it's going to have to be surgically removed from your sternum. And the Eagles showing some signs of life for the first time tonight.
At the 39-yard line.
Randall audibling. And the Bears with a blitz.
And he's going into traffic again, and too deep, fortunately for him, because Carter was double covered.
He picked the one man who was double covered. His other 2 men were single covered. Sean Gale was back there covering on Chris Carter. Let's take a look at it again. Simpson is going to get help from the inside from Sean Gale. There's Sean Gale. Meanwhile, Jackson was single covered on one side. Quick was single covered on the other side, and Cunningham, being flushed out of the pocket, just didn't go back to them.
2nd and 10 from the shotgun. Looking for Byers. Byers has it. Byers has a first down as he's taken out of bounds at the 28-yard line by Singletary and Jackson.
Byers, who came up basically as a running back, they discovered how good a receiver he was. Had a couple of tough years with an injured foot, but he has turned into a super receiver. He just made himself a nifty little collection on the sidelines there, but he works just as well out of the backfield as he does from the flanker position.
Hello there, I'm Keith Byers. I was an All-American at Ohio State.
On my bubblegum card.
Talk about a pass.
There's a double clutch. David Alexander, the center, moved the ball. This has got to go against the Eagles.
Ball start. Number 72, center.
Yeah, that's one way to try to get the defense jumping off sides. It's always a help. Here's Alexander right here. Watch the movement of the ball. You could see him rock back. While he rocked back, he inadvertently moved the ball about a foot at the same time.
Makes it 1st and 15. Philadelphia from the Chicago 33.
Boy, the Eagles need a score here desperately.
Bears on top 13-0. Cunningham fires, and it's dropped at the 15 by Greg Garrity. He was right there and dropped it.
Interesting to see the strategy played out. Buddy Ryan was telling us last night, when the Bears line up in their straight 4-3, as they did on that play, he said 100% of the time they're going to blitz. That's exactly what they did. Cunningham was well aware of it, had the individual coverage. He just threw the ball poorly.
Venerable Soldier Field used to hold more than 100,000. Now modernized, capacity about 60,000. Second and 15. Cunningham throws, open on the sideline, but dropping the ball is Keith Byers. And it'll be third down and 15 as they bring it back to the 33-yard line.
Those are the things that have been working for the Eagles in the past couple of weeks against the Redskins, and even last week against the 49ers. A little Cunningham magic, pulling that ball down, getting out of what would appear to be a sure sack, and your receiver doesn't hold on to it.
Well, it's 2 in a row, and the Eagles have really mounted a good-looking drive, starting well back in their own territory. That's a confusing statistic, 0 for 4, because there's some drops in there.
Third and 15.
And here comes the blitz again.
It's Carter taking it at the 30 and wrapped up. Lorenzo Lynch tackles him after a minimal gain. He wanted a face mask called at Carter. David Tate put the pressure on with the safety blitz. And the line of scrimmage is the 30 with a 4th and 12.
Blitz again on the part of the Bears, and watch number 50. Extra intensity. Tony takes him on, does a little bit of a job on him, and Cunningham has to let it go.
Well, actually, Tony got Singletary to the ground. It wasn't very pretty, but it was effective. It gave Randall time to throw it, and there's a high snap.
47-yard attempt by Luis Zendejas is good, and good by plenty. Zendejas, cut by Dallas last year. Coming to Philadelphia, puts the Eagles on the board. Great hold, 2 to play in the third.
Great hold by Telchik to get that ball down.
All right, early returns. Lawrence Taylor's sack, favored by about half of those who have called into this point. Jack Lambert running second.
We talked about that hold of Telchik a moment ago. The punter, watch this snap, very high. And great concentration on the part of Zendejas. And you put one up there that high, that's a real good tribute to the holder to get it down and get it through the uprights. You usually hook it or pull it or kick it wide to the right.
And that would have been good from 53 or 54. This one is a 2-hopper, juggled, and they've got to pick it up, and Gentry does inside his 10. And can bring it back only to the 13-yard line. And so Chicago will take over at that spot. Bears tonight have scored the only touchdowns in the game, both on passes coming into the game. Chicago leading the league in rushing, but tonight averaging just a little bit more than 2 yards per carry.
And lost in all of this is how well the Eagles have played the Bears and their running attack. The team that's #1 in the league and has run roughshod over everyone for years. And right now, that's one of the big reasons the Eagles are in this ball game, how well their front 8 is playing on the running attack.
From the 14-yard line, Tom Zach working against that weakened secondary, hits Gentry, and he's tackled by Allen. We say weakened because we saw Bell lead, and Hopkins was hurt enough that they were thinking about having him inactive, but he is not only active, he's in the game right now. Meanwhile, lowest career sack rate, you can see you never sack Marino, but there's Tom Zach, clearly second in that category. Once every 33 dropbacks, and some of the other names there to give you some comparative information.
Whereas Randall Cunningham is what? Gets sacked once every 7 or 8 times he drops.
Yep. Second and 7. Tom Zach's pass is caught by the tight end Cap Boso, and it's close to a first down.
I think they're going to give him the first down.
They will. They spot him at the 25-yard line. It is a first down. Al Harris with the coverage.
And the Bears coming right out in this possession with a pair of passes and a strong sideline pattern that time. by Bozo with a good rifle throw by Mike Tomczak. You get the impression when you watch Tomczak play that he really prefers to work the middle of the field. He likes to work the middle, likes to go over the top, down the middle, has a nice long touch. It's really what puts him ahead of Jim Harbaugh, his backup, but that was nice work of the sideline.
First down. This time he goes to the outside and hits the other tight end, James Thornton. A first down out at the 39-yard line.
Are we really watching the Chicago Bears, who have a 13-3 lead, trying to protect that lead? They get the ball back after an Eagles score and open up with 3 consecutive passes?
As the man that's calling him, Greg Landry.
Oh, this can't be. What happened to student body right, student body left? This is...
Well, it might be reflective of the few yards they've been able to put together on the ground against the Eagles defense that we were just talking about a moment ago.
First and 10, Chicago from the 40-yard line. A draw, and Anderson takes it out to the 49-yard line where Wes Hopkins knocks him down.
Nice call. 3 straight passes, then the draw. That's how to set it up. That is how to set it up, and really the tackle Neil Anderson breaks to make it happen is Reggie White. Reggie White is all over Anderson in the backfield.
Neil Anderson already with 200-yard performances this year. Reggie White watching the Bears come up to the line of scrimmage on 2nd down and 1 from the 49-yard line. Thornton in motion. Anderson across the 50, a first down, taking it to the Philadelphia 47-yard line.
Good drive for the Bears from inside their own 15-yard line.
They lead 13-3. 6.5 minutes to play in the 3rd quarter at Soldier Field.
First and 10 for the Bears from the Eagles, 47.
A little cool tonight, not that bad though. Temperature about 50 degrees. First down at the Eagle 47. Tomczak over the middle, man open at the 30 is Cap Boso. To the 27-yard line, he wants a face mask call and gets it. He might have talked the official into it.
I think he did.
Very late flag. Andre Waters was the man who grabbed it.
And there's no question that Andre Waters had it. Has it with his right hand blatantly.
Face mask, 5-yard penalty, number 20.
It was Evans on the coverage, and Evans is beaten again, number 56. As Boso goes down, and there is Andre Waters.
And he rides it down, and he keeps his hand on it. And you saw Bozo come up and grabbing his face mask, and he worked the referee for a good 4 or 5 seconds until the flag came out. There's a... Yeah, it was like this. It was like this.
First down, Chicago. This long drive starting inside the Bear 15 from the Eagle 22-yard line. Tomczak, a short drop and a quick pass out to Wendell Davis, who gets to the 13-yard line. He is stopped there by Eric Allen.
Good read again on the part of Tomczak. Going to Wendell Davis. Blitz was on. Davis had individual coverage.
Well, it's becoming obvious when the Eagles get up there on first down in that 46 defense, which is what they were in last time. And if you're going to have a cornerback giving as much ground as Eric Allen did that time, why not? Take 2 steps back, fire it, take the easy yardage. Why try to jam it in there against 8 guys?
2nd and 1. Chicago at the 13.
There's the 46 again.
And they give it to Anderson for a first and goal to the 7-yard line on a drive that began back at the 14-yard line. Brad Muster throwing the block to Stringham.
Hey, the Bears came out of this half. They were staggering around a little bit. The Eagles put together some semblance of drive, and then all of a sudden the Bears, taking over inside their own 15, have put together a beauty. Here comes Anderson over 1,000 yards last year when he had his first shot at replacing the legendary Walter Payton. He can do it all, too. He can go out on the flank for you, come out of the backfield and catch the ball, and one of the fine runners in the game today.
4 minutes to go, third quarter. Chicago up by 10. On first and goal, big hole for Anderson. He takes it to the 2.5. Stopped there by Al Harris. Second and goal.
Well, this is just an excellent example of how Colbert, Bortz, Hilgenberg, Thayer, and Van Horn are now taking control of the ball game. The Bear offensive line is dominating the line of scrimmage. Let's take a look at this work up close. Hilgenberg moving to his left. Bortz coming on the trap. I mean, those are huge holes. Jimbo Colbert coming in there, finishing off a block. Slam bam football coming right at you down at the goal line.
Second and goal from the 2. Anderson, touchdown Bears.
That was a great looking drive. They did it all. Outside passing over the middle to the tight end, to the wide receivers, reading the blitz. Anderson judiciously used. And Ditka did it the way he would like to do it to Buddy Ryan. You're the defensive genius, he's saying to himself. Take this, Buster.
Yeah, nice and slow and painful. Nice,
but surgical.
Nice. Hey, what a good-looking move by Neil Anderson back to the inside.
Butler, who missed his last extra point attempt, rediscovers the range. However, there's a flag down. Andre Waters came busting through.
Well, we may get running into the kicker.
Running into the kicker, number 20. Roughing the kicker, number 20 will penalize on the kickoff.
That's Andre Waters again.
Tomczak was trying to pick Andre Waters up and help him out, and he almost got himself punched out.
Well, Andre Waters, no stranger to the fray here this evening. He's been in the middle of just about everything.
No stranger to the fray on most evenings or Sunday afternoons.
And he's no stranger to the yellow flag. You like good aggressive play? You go after the ball, you go after the receiver and the ball carrier. And it's a fine line between being overly aggressive and not being smart. Let's take a look at it. Coming in from the right side, there's Andre Waters. And, you know, he just laid out for the ball. You can't blame a guy for that. Butler fell on him.
While we were in commercial, the crowd with a mocking, derisive chant of Buddy, Buddy. And as Frank mentioned, Mike Ditka thinking to himself, take that, you defensive genius. As Ditka said today, hey, Ryan didn't invent the 46 defense. Lombardi used it 20 years ago. At the 15-yard line, coming straight up the middle is David Little, who is the backup tight end to Keith Jackson. Let's go back to the extra point.
Yeah, here's a penalty that's called against Andre Waters, and really you can't fault him. He's just flying in there, trying to block the kick. Again, look at the right of your screen. Waters just leaves his feet, hits the ground well short of Butler, and really just slides on in. But watch this. Butler gets up. He doesn't like it, and he's going to get right in Waters' face. Now, there's Kevin Butler, a kicker that last hit somebody in 1982.
As Reggie White, the Reverend, saying, bless you, brother, but leave my man alone.
Well, if I'm Kevin Butler, I clear out.
From the shotgun on first down, it's dropped by Byers, right in his hands. Second and 10.
And Byers has not had a sterling second half. For a guy who
his
sole responsibility basically on this club, rushing for less than a 2-yard average. He's there to catch the ball. Your club's trailing and on the verge of oblivion. You just can't drop those. I'm sorry. No excuses.
Good receiver, too. Last year, 72 receptions for the Eagles.
On second and 10. Cunningham fires over the middle, and nobody is there. Third down.
Misfire.
Eagles, nightmarish night for a team that began with an almost perfect opening day. They beat Seattle 31-7. The big come from behind win against Washington. Then they had that 11-point loss evaporate last week to San Francisco. On the verge of being 3-0 last week. They're now on the verge of being 500 and 2 games back of the Giants.
3rd and 10.
Here comes the audible again. They're in their base 4-3. He's looking for the blitz.
And he got it. Shoots it out to Tony. And Tony to the 44-yard line and a first down for the Eagles.
And as sloppy as that was on the part of the Eagles, when you get the blitz and you get the individual coverage, you pick up big yardage off it.
Yeah, here's what Cunningham's looking at. He's got the 4 linemen right here in a base 4-3, the middle open. He's looking for one of these guys to come. The Bears do it 100% of the time. Tate comes in on the blitz. The audible works. He checks off and dumps it out there. Look for the Bears to blitz every time in that situation.
From the 43-yard line, Carter makes the catch and takes it to the Chicago 34-yard line, wrapped up by Sean Gale. So the Eagles mounting this drive, and they'll do it without a huddle here with 2:35 to play, 3rd quarter, and Philadelphia trailing by 17. On first down, the catch is made by Carter, and he takes it to the 24. Appears to be just short of the first. Stopped by Rivera.
And if I'm the Eagles, I don't huddle up. I keep going with it, and the Eagles are going to go back to the huddle. Boy, I'd have stayed with it.
That gives the Bears a chance to change their personnel.
Yeah, I'd have stayed with that.
Sam White smiling to himself somewhere in Cincinnati.
2nd and 1 from the 25-yard line. Cunningham, and it's dropped at the 20 by Keith Jackson. So it'll be 3rd down and 1.
There have been some drops tonight on the part of the Eagles. That was a first down drop on the part of Jackson. Great rookie year with 81 receptions. So many of them coming when Mike Quick, who has not even been a factor in this game tonight, was out with the broken fibula. They discovered Keith Jackson and his great talent.
Not exactly coming from a great passing school either in Oklahoma.
No, sir. 3rd down and 1. Can they get it on the ground? Anthony Tony.
Oh, good second effort.
Needed just 1.
Good second effort. Steve McMichael had him wrapped up, but kind of in an awkward position. Tony with the low body angle. He had the leverage on McMichael, and I think struggled for that first down. He picks it up.
24-yard line, 1st and 10, Philadelphia.
Watch Tony again. Now, he missed last week's game with a twisted knee. And he's hit right there. It spins loose. A little bit of drive and just enough to get the first down.
A minute and a half remaining in the 3rd quarter. And Cunningham is sacked at the 28-yard line by Roper. Ball is loose.
Richard Dent came out of it with the football. Jackson was covered by Singletary. Cunningham wanted to go to Jackson, had to pull it down, and Richard Dent got his hands on the football.
No signal yet.
John Roper, number 55, is the Bear that hit Cunningham and forces the fumble. Steve McMichael's coming at him from one direction. Oh, I think that's Pat Haggerty we hear saying, I called him down. There's McMichael. There's Roper. Oh, that left knee is very close to being down. They're calling him down. No fumble. No fumble. The guy in the white hat is Pat Haggerty.
And Pat doesn't realize his mic is open as well right now.
Watch the left knee. Now the ball comes out. The ball comes out, but keep in mind, if Pat Haggerty wanted to call grasp and control beforehand, the play's over. The play's over.
On 2nd and long, the pass is tipped by Stinson. And it will be 3rd down and 15.
Just so there's no confusion on that last play, Pat Haggerty rules that he was in the grasp and control. The play was well over before the ball pops out. Not subject to replay or anything else because of the fact he whistles the play dead.
Meanwhile, there's another one that could have been picked off. You saw Stinson, who had an opportunity to pick that one off.
And a 3rd and long situation now for the Eagles.
3rd and 15 from the Chicago 28-yard line. Cunningham over the middle for Jackson, who juggles, and it's picked off at the 2-yard line by Sean Gale.
Well, this is one of the worst nights for receivers that I have ever seen. I mean, that is absolutely a perfect pass, and I think we're going to see a textbook example, Frank, of a receiver turning his head to run with a football before he looks the ball all the way into his hand. And Keith Jackson, watch how he's going to turn his head away before he looks the ball and clutches it.
Wide open. Cunningham right in there. Jackson,
look at him turn. Look at him turn.
For the goal line.
Oh.
And did Gale get it or trap it?
Well, we had a drop. Let's see if we have an interception. Sean Gale, number 23.
Doesn't have control.
Oh, no way.
No way.
And now they're going to look at it. Yeah. I think they're going to take this away.
That's going to be an incomplete pass, and that'll bring up 4th and 15 for the Eagles. That's an incomplete pass. Boy, that last angle, guys, perfect. They have no choice. Good-looking angle, guys.
And they will reverse it.
Never ever had control of it, as you can see. Now here comes Sean Gale. He never has control of it.
No. Yeah. Craig Janoff, our director. Kenny Wolf, our producer. Nice look. Nice look. Nice look.
So they bring it back. It's still Philadelphia's ball. Zendejas has come in for what will be about a 46-yard field goal attempt. And that mixed extra point by Butler now comes into play, and that's why Zendejas is in there right now to try to get them to within 14. Had Butler not missed, it would have been a whole other story.
Would have been a whole lot simpler if Keith Jackson would have just held on to the ball.
Selchik to hold. Zendejas who booted one from 47. This one has plenty of distance, but is wide.
And another high snap, and this time Zendejas misses it.
David Alexander, the snapper. And so the Eagles get a reversal, but don't capitalize. Chicago still leads by 17.
Makes it even easier, doesn't it? Much more impressive.
And look at that.
In some
lights
ways
on that building designating the logo of the Cubs as you look at it from the Goodyear Blimp Enterprise.
Still no UFOs.
Nope, not yet.
The Eagle receivers are acting like that's what the football is tonight.
Yeah. Alien to all of them.
Thomas Sanders in the game as the running back in this set, and it's Sanders carrying for a gain of 2 out to the 30-yard line.
The Eagle receivers are acting like they're uncatchable flying objects tonight.
The Cunningham stats look horrendous, but if you've been watching the game, they could look a whole lot better. And there's a guy who just hasn't been a part of the action tonight for the most part. Mike Quick.
You got to wonder why.
Keith Jackson's been a part of the action.
Mike Quick, one of the most dangerous receivers in the NFL, really hasn't been much of a factor here tonight.
2nd and 8 from the 30-yard line. Tomczak to the far side. Boso makes the catch and is taken down by Izell Jenkins, and he is hurt.
Tomczak put that ball up high, and as Boso went up for it, he took a tremendous shot right in the small of the back.
Jenkins puts the shoulder pad right into the back of Cap Boso. And that's exactly what it is, Frank. The quarterback, Mike Tomczak, just hung that ball out high. You don't think this hurts? Right in the small of the back.
And the period ends on that play. We'll return after this from our ABC stations. Start the 4th quarter. Happy to report Cap Boso is fine.
I think the way he acted, he had the wind knocked out of him, and he appears to be perfectly all right.
And the period begins with a 3rd and 2 from the Bear 36-yard line.
Tomczak, a little shovel pass to Gentry, and Byron Evans didn't get fooled.
That's a good job, Byron. Try to get something going. Force them to punt. The Eagles, a team that generally play with a lot of enthusiasm, not showing much here, especially in the second half, and maybe that's the kind of spark they need. Tom Landry would be proud of this one. Shovel pass up the middle. And Dennis Gentry says, thanks a lot.
Maury Buford standing inside his 25. Gizmo Williams is back at the Eagle 20. Good kick. Williams at the 10. Out of bounds at the 17. 49 seconds into the fourth quarter. Well, we were happy to report Boso was fine, but unhappy to report that the report on Todd Bell is a fractured fibula, and further x-rays will be taken. Bell, the safety for the Eagles and the one-time Bear, coming out in the middle of the third quarter. The Eagles at the 18-yard line. Ron Solt, who was suspended because he had taken steroids, is in the game. That's number 65, and there's a flag down before the inception of the play. Pat Haggerty.
Ball start. Offense.
There is Solt. Couldn't come to terms with Indianapolis. Eagles traded for him. High salaried offensive lineman.
Looks like that might have been a late snap by the center, as all the offensive linemen got in their pass protection and the center was still over the ball.
You know, if he holds it, everybody else is offsides. They look bad, but he'll get it tomorrow.
1st and 15, and this time Jackson makes the catch and a first down. Good catch by Keith Jackson.
Feast or famine for this guy. That was a grade A catch by Keith Jackson. Boy, that was nice. Well-timed leap, reaching over.
Keep in mind, he's 6'2" and 250 pounds, and he is playing in a wide receiver position. Now, watch this.
Well, he's also working against Lemuel Stinson, who's only 5'9". Yeah, I mean, real mismatch.
1st and 10 from the 33-yard line, and the catch is made by Jackson again for a first down. Sean Gale with the coverage. So Jackson making amends on this drive.
And I think the Eagles are being very wise going without a huddle.
Which they do here from the 43-yard line, and it's knocked down at the line of scrimmage. 2nd and 10.
See Dan Hampton still in there, 20-3. We're in the fourth quarter. There was a lot of concern, if you were not with us earlier, whether Dan Hampton would hold up. Didn't practice all week. Had his 8th surgical knee this past off season, and had filled up with fluid after the Detroit game last week. And they didn't know whether he was going to be able to go tonight, but he's still in there late in the game.
That was the left hand of Richard Dent, though, that knocked that ball away.
2nd and 10. Down the sidelines, but the pass out of the range of Jimmy Giles. It'll be 3rd down. And they work on Jackson, outfitting with a new shirt.
You know, for reasons I can't really figure out, Dan Hampton's got the bad knees. The Bears have a lead, and yet it's Steve McMichael who's really sitting out most of the game. McMichael has been sitting on the sidelines, and I don't know what the explanation is.
3rd and 10, and the catch is made by Carter, and Lynch runs him down out of bounds inside the 35-yard line.
Boy, and there's an aggressive offensive receiver. Chris Carter came very close to getting a personal foul. Check it out at the end of this play. Sean Gale is down there, and is that Gale that takes a shot in the head? Watch Chris Carter with his left hand right here. Oh, and he takes a little stab at Sean Gale.
27-yard gain, 1st and 10, Philadelphia at the 30. Cunningham up the middle. And run down at the 22-yard line by Vesti Jackson. Gain of 8, 13-18 remaining in the fourth quarter. Again, the Eagles marching. Their last drive coming up short when Jackson dropped the pass inside the 5. But they're moving again on the Bear defense at the 21-yard line. It's 2nd down and 1.
Well, now Steve McMichael checks back into the game for the Bears, but it's William Perry who comes out. Dan Hampton staying in.
Anthony Toney picks up the first down as he's driven back by Mike Singletary. Forward progress to about the 17-yard line. I think we there's a no huddle.
And here go the Eagles without that huddle. They have been most effective moving the ball with no huddle.
From the 17-yard line. Cunningham throwing. Garrity makes the catch, and Garrity is out of bounds at the 3-yard line. Little looping pass thrown by Cunningham, but Holding will bring it back.
Holding, offense, number 72.
David Alexander, the center.
Well, the Bears doing a lot of substituting inside. On that last play, Dick Shapiro, one of the defensive linemen, working to the inside. There's 94, and that's Alexander, the center, who's got the arms locked up in Shapiro. Tough for us to see what the officials saw from that angle. Didn't look like much holding from there.
1st and 20. Little screen pass to Byers, and he gets knocked down at the 24-yard line. Tackle made by Sean Gale.
And if you're an Eagles fan and you're wondering where Mike Quick is, we have to wonder along with you. We've heard nothing as to why he might not be in the game tonight, but he has not been in there the past couple of series. Greg Garrity, who replaced him last year when he was injured, has been seeing most of the action. And still no Mike Quick, their talented all-pro wide receiver.
2nd and 17. Cunningham going for Garrity, who comes back to make the catch for the touchdown.
I guess that's why. Vesti Jackson on the coverage, and a good pass laid up there, but the receiver on that pass will always have the advantage when you're in 1-to-1. And now we do get a report that Quick has suffered a bruised knee, and Garrity, his replacement, getting himself tied up with Jackson 1-for-1. Cunningham lays it up, and Garrity goes up and comes down with an Eagles touchdown.
First for the Eagles tonight, Zendejas for the extra point attempt. And again, the snap was a bit errant. Patelchik gets it down. There's a flag down. The kick was good, but there's a marker down with 12:06 remaining.
To this point in time, David Alexander, look at him stand there with his hands on his helmet. He's having a night that he just as soon forget.
Holding, 83 offense.
He'll get another chance to snap one.
There is Alexander, who's had now 3 consecutive high snaps. The holding penalty didn't hurt the Eagles as they get the touchdown anyway.
Penalty on Jimmy Giles. And this now means the extra point attempt will come from about the 20-yard line, or the equivalent of a 30-yard field goal.
And a critical extra point because they need this to make it a 10-point deficit.
Very.
A touchdown and a field goal would tie if they convert here.
Stop the presses. The snap was good, and so is the kick. Garrity with a touchdown. Zendejas for the extra point.
If I were the Bears, I wouldn't be feeling too comfortable about this. A lot of time left, and only 10 points separating the Bears and the Eagles.
Well, the Eagles are here, but no Eagles have landed in the booth anyway as of the moment.
That was a great movie.
We were advised that we needed the proper vibes throughout the entire country, and the circulation of that little rag probably doesn't cover too much of the country.
No UFOs. Frankly, we could use a little spurt right about now. we could use a little pop. The Eagles got a touchdown. Randall Cunningham. And if I was the Eagles, I would dispense with the huddle for the balance of this ball game. They have moved it extremely effectively by no huddle offense, but right now their defense has to hold the Bears to give them a chance.
Zendejas puts a ground ball. It's picked up at the 14-yard line by Mark Green, the rookie out of Notre Dame. And he's out of bounds at about the 35-yard line.
Boy, that was an ugly kick. Meanwhile, Zendejas gets trampled.
1 week from tonight, the Meadowlands will be the site. The Los Angeles Raiders will always seem to rise to the occasion on Monday night against the New York Jets.
Got the best record on Monday night.
The Los Angeles above the Raiders is on there in Velcro, right. So we could peel that off and put it. Pick a city.
Erasable ink. From the 35-yard line, Tomzak hit Suey for a gain of 6. It was Suey who caught a touchdown pass in the first half. Andre Waters covering on the play.
And Waters, eschewing the conventional tackling technique, goes flying in there more with a downfield block than a tackle.
You have come up with a veritable plethora of adjectives tonight.
You guys don't have to act stunned that I used a big word, you know. I mean,
we're looking it up.
You know, there doesn't have to be a deadly silence that falls over the booth just because I used a word with more than 5 letters in it.
Does that mean eating? Second down and 3 from the 42-yard line. Anderson. And
he dropped the ball.
First down, fumbles. And it's Wes Hopkins who should be at the bottom of the pile and is.
Only the Bears' second fumble of the young season.
And this is again difficult to see with a big crowd of people. It was a solid upfield run by Neil Anderson. Let's see if we can determine clearly that it was a fumble. This is going to be good for the first down. Oh, and a good shot there of the ball clearly coming out before Anderson hits the ground.
Now the Eagles with Cunningham from the shotgun on first down. The catch is made by Carter, and he's bumped out of bounds by Lorenzo Lynch.
Boy, and if I'm the Eagles, I don't huddle. I know I'm trying to coach from the booth, but there's no question how effective they have been moving without a huddle.
I wonder if they've had an opportunity to work that much on it, though, Dan. They were just kind of casually mentioning it to us. They said we might do it. You might see that. We just wonder how much they worked on it.
Second and 4 out of the shotgun. Cunningham chased by Hampton, throws down the sideline. Catch is made by Carter, and he takes it to the 1-yard line.
And I believe the deadly silence that was enveloping the booth several minutes ago has now jumped all over this Soldier Field crowd.
Yeah, but who did it, though, is Cunningham, who has been bottled up most of the game, chased out of the pocket, keeps himself alive. Here he is. Hampton is chasing him. We talked about his bad wheels. McMichael, number 76, gets the ball to Carter. Now he comes down with a great catch. Lorenzo Lynch was there defensively and prevents the touchdown, but 2 fine athletic moves by the Eagles. Cunningham and then Carter.
And there's a Bear shaken up. I think it's Stinson who needs some attention to an official's timeout. It's Lemuel Stinson, the cornerback. 10:23 remaining in the fourth quarter.
And this now makes the Bears dangerously thin at left corner. Keep in mind that Stinson was playing because Donnell Wolford had a shoulder injury a couple weeks ago. He's out. So now the Bears are beginning to have some injury problems in their secondary.
Dave Dorson out as well. From the 2, pass too high for Jimmy Giles.
Oh, and he could have had that there, and Cunningham knows it.
Yeah, that's the kind of pass. If Randall just waits, if he waits a half a second longer to throw that ball, that's an easy touchdown.
You've got Morrissey, the linebacker, locked up on the tight end Giles, and another beat, and it would have been wide open. As it was, it should have been in there.
How's that for a little turnaround into the second half?
Second and goal, lofted into the end zone and incomplete. Intended for David Little, the backup tight end, and it was Jim Morrissey getting a hand on it.
And that is perfect coverage by a linebacker. Jim Morrissey plays both the ball and the receiver. And David Little, the intended target all the way, smothered by this guy, Jim Morrissey.
And good defensive play on the part of the Bears defensive unit. That was their run defense they had in, and their linebackers Morrissey and Rivera were both in great shape on it.
And here comes the all-out blitz.
3rd and goal. He rolls to his right, throws, incomplete, intended for Jackson.
Well, now, you need 2 touchdowns to take the lead. You need a touchdown and a field goal to tie.
He's going for the field goal.
And you're going to take your field goal figuring that eventually you're going to need it anyway.
And that's right. You come away with that, and your team is all of a sudden picking up momentum. You even took it to a tie. You figure you've got that momentum to carry you into the overtime.
Well, it's suicide to come out of here with no points. That's why you take what you can.
Alexander snapping and Telchik holding, and Zendejas kicking, and it's perfect from 19.
And the Bears didn't even rush. Did you see the Bears? They didn't even cross the line of scrimmage. They were playing fake all the way. The Chicago Bears up by only a touchdown, Al.
And 10:01 remaining in the 4th in Chicago. The scene from the Goodyear Blimp Enterprise, 1,000 feet above Soldier Field in Chicago. And in Chicago, that's the ticket. Ditka and Zimmer in 92. Mike's contract, by the way, runs for 1 more year through 1990. If Zimmer wins the World Series, he'll get a lifetime deal. Zendejas.
Oh, nice kick.
The 28-yard line. Matsui.
Boy, put the old leg into that one, Louise.
The 38.
Matsui almost had to fair catch that.
Jeez. What a Titanic blast that was.
How would you like to face Buddy Ryan coming off the field after that? Don't go near him. He's hot.
That was not a thing of beauty.
Tonight on Nightline, twins separated at birth. They'll look at the study of identical twins and answer questions in regard to that tonight. That's the subject matter on Nightline following your late local news. From the 37-yard line, Mike Tomczak hands the ball to Anderson. And this is where the Bears are going to need that running game that led the league through 3 weeks to come back in full force.
A fumble by Anderson a while ago. It was only the second I mentioned of the Bears all season long. In the first game against Cincinnati, Brad Muster in, well, not a similar situation, but something close to it, fumbled late in the game, and it was the Bears defense that saved that one.
2nd and 1 at the 46-yard line. And Anderson picks up the first down as he takes the ball to the 50-yard line. So Chicago will have it at midfield with 9 minutes to play in the 4th quarter. Evans in on the tackle. You were mentioning that Muster fumbled. Remember the Dan Hampton quote? At the end, he said after the game, if I had a knife, I would have stabbed him. And, you know, that's how he wasn't too upset.
I find team unity to be a wonderful thing.
Just happy little campers together.
Oh, yeah. I mean, all for one, one for all.
Sure. from the 50. Tomczak to Thornton. And then he gets wrestled out of bounds at the 44 by Seth Joyner after a pickup of 6.
It's like the opening series of the game. Very high percentage stuff. Taking no real risks with it. Keeping the ball on the ground. Hitting your tight end. Hitting the back out of the backfield.
Clock stopped on the out of bounds play. Ball at the 43-yard line. 2nd down and 3. toss to Anderson, who cuts it back and can only get to the 42-yard line. That's going to set up a third and a long 2. Byron Evans, third year out of the University of Arizona, makes the tackle. Clock running, 8:10 to play.
I guess this is a situation where the Eagles now have to decide, are we going to gamble? Do we come with a run blitz? Do we come with a pass blitz? Do we sit back and try to play this one straight? But they have got to somehow wrest the ball away from the Bears.
Third and a short 3 from the 43-yard line. Thornton goes in motion. And they give it to Anderson, and he picks up the first down. The money man takes it to the 38-yard line. Hopkins and Waters converge on the tackle.
Boy, a great call by the Chicago Bears. They know one guy here is going to be playing pass. It's this guy right here. Reggie White, watch him go all the way upfield. Here comes the trap to kick him out. A brilliant call on short yardage. Mark Bortz, Reggie White completely out of the play. Byron Evans can't make it, and that's a well-run trap play for a first down by the Bears.
At the 38-yard line, 7 minutes to go. 1st and 10, Chicago. Anderson, close to the 35-yard line. Thus far, perfect drive, exactly what Chicago wants. Keep moving, keep the chains moving, keep the clock grinding down. 6:40 to play.
Well, it's one thing you always like to see in a team when you're trying to assess their championship caliber. How do they react when the other team scores? Remember, the Bears put together a scoring drive after the Eagles kicked their one field goal to get their 10 points. The Bears came right back with a scoring drive, and now they put together another good one following an Eagle score.
2nd and 8. Tom Zach play fake, throws, hits Thornton. First down inside the 20. Still on his feet, and Thornton is in for the touchdown.
Oh, and what a pass by Tom Zach.
And they bounced off his arms.
Tom Zach right in between 2 defenders. We talked about his touch earlier in the game. That was a beautiful shot.
And there were also about 3 missed tackles. A very simple pass route being run by James Thornton.
What a great camera shot here.
Just a simple turnout. There's the first missed tackle. There's the second missed tackle. And I think Izell Jenkins just bounced off his arms.
Extra point by Butler is good. 2nd touchdown reception of the season for Thornton.
Great protection. He's had it most of the night. Thornton wide open in front of Evans and maintains the football, and the Bears extend their lead. What a super drive. They had to have it, and they got it.
Alien music. Soldier Field, Chicago. Look at that shot.
That's Buddy Ryan leaving.
Goodyear Blimp. Gorgeous shot. Soldier Field. A sparkling night.
Many great events here over the years.
27-13. Chicago on top. Gizmo Williams runs into his own man and is down to the 24-yard line. Well, a look this week at the Huskies of Washington, traveling down to L.A. to take on the Trojans of USC at 3:30 Eastern and 12:30 on the Pacific Coast this Saturday. Some of you will see at 3:30 Eastern, Ohio State taking on the Fighting Illini. Regional coverage this week, ABC's college football, Pac-10 and the Big Ten. .24-yard line, 1st and 10. Eagles down by 2 touchdowns, and Byers makes the catch. Gets dropped out at the 32-yard line by Mike Singletary. Clock running with 5:50 remaining in the 4th period. 2nd and 2. Cunningham throwing underneath to Byers. He's trying to get out of bounds to stop the clock, and he does, and has the first down at the 37-yard line.
run out by Maurice Douglas.
And this is one-on-one right now. This is Randall Cunningham against Mike Singletary. When the Eagles go to their no-huddle offense, this guy right here is in charge of calling the Bears defense. Randall will call the Eagle offense by himself, and a little game of chess between these two. And even with it going out of bounds, if I'm the Eagles, I would have gone right to the line of scrimmage.
From the 37-yard line for Garrity. Reaches up to make the catch at the 32-yard line. Vesty Jackson with a coverage.
That's twice now. Garrity has done a number on Vesty Jackson. Gave him a little look to the inside and just totally riveted Jackson. And Randall Cunningham right on target. Jackson not just now getting back into the play, but a good move by Garrity.
From the 32, a one-handed grab by Cunningham. A deflected pass, intercepted, and then fumbled at the 40-yard line. A loose ball.
That's John Roper that had it.
And it's the Eagles.
Dan Hampton deflected it. John Roper caught it. Roper ran with it. Roper fumbled it. And now it's a question of, did Roper have possession? I guess that's the one thing we want to ascertain. Let's take a look at it. Now there's Dan Hampton. Second pass tonight, he's blocked. There's Roper, 55. Well, he's clearly got the ball. He's stripped of the ball. And here we go.
Giles.
With Jimmy Giles coming in. Wow.
And after all that, it's 1st and 10. Philadelphia at the 41-yard line.
Well, John Roper officially gets credited with an INT.
Myers runs out of bounds just short of the first down at the 31-yard line. They're nearly out of the ballpark.
Well, Mike Dickinson, hit that guy harder. Hit that guy harder.
I think the coffee might be wearing off just a little bit.
Yeah.
Oh, he was wired before this game.
He was the original Mr. Coffee this morning.
Yes, he was. Second and 1 from the 31.
And the worst part is I wanted one real bad. He didn't offer it.
Cunningham incomplete. Lorenzo Lynch with the coverage on the play. He had Chris Carter blanketed. It'll be 3rd and 1.
He's not afraid to throw it into coverage, is he, Frank? Randall Cunningham, when the mood strikes him, will throw the ball just about anywhere. That's the confidence that is born of having a tremendous arm.
A whole different choreography for his game than any other quarterback.
54 passes. And with their non-existent running game, it's not going to be the last time the season will throw 54 passes. Slings it, and it's dropped by Carter. Is it a live ball?
They're gonna give it to the Bears.
He could have been down. It was very close to being down.
Singletary hit him. McMichael comes up with it. And the Bears have the football. Carter's contending he was down.
Good look at it. There's Singletary. He's not above stripping it out of there either.
Well, I think we may take a look at this.
See, what the Bears know that they're going to review this.
They're trying to snap
They try to get up to the line of scrimmage. They're obviously coached to try to get the play off as soon as you can. But they've stopped it to take a look upstairs.
Knees down. Ball still in.
Well, that's awful close. That's awful close. That will be interesting to see whether they see enough to reverse that.
The play stands as ruled. 1st down.
All right. So much for that.
They're not indecisive tonight.
No, they took a look at it and said, we don't see enough to overturn it. I think the Eagle fans are saying, we think it's worth a second look. I think the Eagle fans would have preferred they were a bit more methodical in reviewing that play.
From the 27-yard line, it's Anderson. Chicago will try to take as much time off the clock as they can. Thornton comes up limping. Pitch makes the tackle. Clock is ticking down. 4:20 remaining in the 4th.
See, here's an example where the 45-second clock while its intent was to speed up play, you can really burn some time off the clock if you're so inclined. You just drive the ball up into the line, and you've got 45 seconds before you have to snap it again.
There's the Buddy chant again. Buddy Ryan.
And after the game, Buddy will say, "Oh, I didn't hear it."
2nd and 10 from the 27-yard line. Tomczak dumps it off, and the juggling catch is made by Suey. And not only does he make the catch, but he stays in bounds as well to keep the clock running. And timeout is taken by Philadelphia.
I think it's been fun for all of us to watch the evolution of number 18, Mike Tomczak. We were with him in Miami in a preseason game when the quarterback job was up for grabs, and we talked to him. Very confident young man, and it was, what, a few days later that Jim McMahon was traded, and he was driving to practice, and he heard on his car radio that McMahon had been traded, and he knew right then that all of his dreams literally had come true. Free agent when he came up out of Ohio State, and now he's in charge and running well. The most visible team, I would say, in pro football, and doing it very nicely.
And having another big passing night tonight.
Yeah, 300 yards plus last week against Detroit. He's had his most attempts tonight and shown a definite education in at least touch football.
3rd down and 8. Tomczak lofting it and throwing it away. And Chicago will have to kick with 3:33 remaining in the 4th quarter.
Nothing chancy at this point on the part of Mike Tomczak, but he has really put the touch on the ball tonight.
You know, the significance of what he did last week, throwing for over 300 yards. Well, since the rules have been liberalized in the secondary, 300-yard passing games aren't really all that noteworthy in the NFL. Do you realize that was only the 7th Bear 300-yard passing day in the last 20 years? 20 years.
Well, remember how long McMahon went before he had one of those nights or days, as Gizmo Williams runs it out of bounds at the 40-yard line. In fact, it was on our Monday night Denver-Chicago game, and as is the case the majority of the time, and we pointed it out, quarterbacks lose more 300-yard games than they win.
But the flip side of it for the Bears, they have led the league in rushing 16 times. Nearest team to them and leading the league is Cleveland with, what, 7 or 8? So we know what they major here.
Well, the equation here is very simple. The Eagles are going to get the ball a couple more times. They better score a touchdown every time they get it.
From the 41-yard line, it's Byers. Across the 50, has the first down, fumbles the football. Sean Gale recovers, and Chicago has it again. And the Eagles have simply self-destructed tonight.
And that pretty well finishes off a very forgettable evening for Keith Byers.
You know, I don't know whether Perry got the fumble or not, but if they worried about him being in condition, he made the pass rush, and then he was in on that tackle deep downfield. Now you watch Perry come into the camera shot. There he is.
Frank, there's no missing Perry coming into the camera shot.
6th Eagle turnover tonight.
Marcus Paul actually knocked it out of there, but if they were concerned about Perry moving around, whether he was in condition or not, he put on the pass pressure, and then he was in on the tackle.
Was good hustle by Big William. Meanwhile, Marcus Paul, I think, was shaken up a little bit after the play. He's over by the Bear bench, walking very gingerly.
Bears from the 43-yard line, and this is Tom. Whoa! Really gets ripped. Eagles take a timeout. Evans is there.
Byron Evans doing his share tonight. Here's a guy doing a lot of talking, and he's backing it up with some big hitting. That was a grade A pop right there.
He was a starter a year ago. Let's take a look at it again. Number 56. Boy. He catch Thomas as he is trying to spin back to the inside, and it looked just a little more effective than it really was. Thomas trying to spin back to the inside, and Evans took him with his own momentum.
Sounded pretty effective.
And it hurt.
Another look at Chicago, Soldier Field in the foreground, and the spectacular skyline.
You could be seeing a lot of it out.
Well, World Series will begin on 14th of October here on ABC. It will begin in either Toronto or Oakland, and the National League City, either Chicago or San Francisco, hosts the middle 3 games.
If it is here, Al,
yes, sir,
you could get some chilly evenings here in Chicago at Wrigley Field.
Then again, you could have Indian summer in the middle of October.
Of course, it's always balmy and warm at Candlestick.
Yeah, right.
You ought to stay away from weather in cities, Dan.
2nd and 9. Sanders across the 50. And that will really write a finish to this one as they pick up the first down, and the Eagles have only 1 timeout remaining.
Dr. Frank Dierdorf, our meteorologist.
Pretty bold of me to insinuate that it might be chilly in Chicago, that it might be cold at either Wrigley or Candlestick in the middle of October, huh? But meanwhile, Frank, we'll be in Buffalo while Al's doing the World Series.
I could be close by in Toronto.
That's true.
We don't have to worry about snow up there. Close the roof.
A lot of emotion spent here tonight. The Eagles coming in knowing full well that Buddy Ryan wanted this game so desperately.
There's a guy right there, Frank, who's played a good ball game. Chris Carter has hustled tonight, made a couple acrobatic catches, and there's a guy that would like to, I think, forget this one. Keith Byers.
And on both sides of the field tonight, a lot of emotion being generated by the 2 coaches, and they're ongoing, I guess I wouldn't call it a feud, but they certainly don't care much for each other.
After tonight, it'll just be Chicago, the Giants, and the Rams. Unbeaten. Philadelphia has just spent its final timeout, so they'll stop the clock just once more. That will come at the 2-minute warning. Sanders takes the ball to the 37-yard line.
All 3 of the undefeated teams being in the National Conference, and this really helps things out in the NFC East. The Bears have done the Redskins a favor.
Of course, the Eagles will play the Giants next week.
Now a very critical game for Philadelphia.
They'll leave here tonight 2 games back. The Giants off to one of their best starts since, what, 1968 or 69? Alex Webster's debut year as head coach.
And we have 2 winless teams still alive after the 4 weeks of the season. Detroit and Dallas, both 0-4.
2nd and 10 at the 37-yard line. Sanders stopped after a gain of about 1. That'll take us to the 2-minute warning. Evans makes the tackle. When we come back, it'll be 3rd down for Chicago with 2 minutes. There it is. The Central Division will look like this at the end of the game. Giants will have a 2-game lead in the East over Philadelphia, Phoenix, and Washington. 2 minutes to go in Chicago, and the Bears up by 2 touchdowns.
Do Dallas and Detroit play each other this year?
Not on Monday night.
Good.
Bears on top 27-13 with 2 minutes remaining in the game, and the Eagles out of timeouts at Soldier Field. It's 3rd down and 9. Chicago at the 37-yard line.
By the way, Dallas and Detroit don't play each other irregardless of appearing on Monday Night Football, which we'd be pleased to have them if they were scheduled.
Try to arrange it. Here's Sanders. He is stopped at the 36-yard line. And we can tell you the executive producer of Monday Night Football, Jeffrey Mason. Tonight's game produced by Ken Wolf, directed by Craig Janoff. Our technical director, Joe Chavo. Associate director, Ben Harvey. Jeff Kibler, Rick Abbott, the assistants to the producer. Coach Coltrane, Tony Versley, Ed McKenna. Our operations manager, Jim Licata. Our telecommunications manager. Director of information, Steve Hurt. George Hill handling our statistics upstairs. Malibu Kelly Hayes still spotting the heavens for the unseen UFO.
And what a nice tip of the hat to our camera crew tonight. Grade A pictures, fellas. Meanwhile, we've got someone down on the field. One of the Philadelphia Eagles, and Jerome Brown. Jerome Brown, Al, a player who has really begun to climb onto the level that a lot of people thought that he would, being the #1 draft choice out of Miami. Has really started to play super football for the Eagles. had a tremendous game last week against the 49ers, but Al, still going to be long remembered for, I guess, leading the revolt when he was a senior at Miami when they walked out on Penn State at the Orange Bowl.
Well, that was a wild night. That was at the Fiesta Bowl, a joint banquet. He went to the microphone. His exact quote was, did the Japanese sit down and have dinner with Pearl Harbor before they bombed them? And everybody yelled, no. And he said, okay, fellas, let's go.
And they went.
Out they went. Out went the Hurricanes. It was a wild scene, and then Penn State won the game the next night.
He didn't want anyone helping him off the field. And the winner of our halftime poll, where we allow you to vote for the key plays that we've known over Monday Night Football tonight. The best sack, that goes to Lawrence Taylor of the Giants, who trails only Reggie White in the last 5 years in sacks. Reggie coming into tonight with 72, but he had a couple tonight.
Mark Gastineau there with less than a stellar performance, gathering only 5% of the votes.
Mark, of course, in training for something. Is he going to fight? Is he still up there training?
Yes, he's going to fight the winner of the Cooney Holmes. Cooney and Foreman.
Cooney
right?
and Foreman, yeah.
Alex Wallows. It's Cooney and Foreman, right, Alex?
Yeah, I think January 15th. Isn't the date of that fight?
We have a mic for Alex.
You know, I think the last Tyson fight was labeled the War by the Shore. I think this the Cooney Foreman fight was been labeled Two Geezers at Caesars.
Not bad. Not bad.
You've held that all night.
We're emptying out the bags, folks.
Anyway, Mark Gastineau is in training. He is going to attempt a boxing career. He's going to go after the crown vacated when Tony Mandarich signed with the Packers.
Here's Buford. And that one will die inside the 5-yard line, but there's a flag down back at the 42.
Oh, woe are the Bears. They're going to have to do it again, I believe.
Greg Landry, a brilliantly orchestrated offense tonight, and head coach Mike Ditka got what he wanted so very much tonight, a win over not only the Philadelphia Eagles, but Buddy Ryan. About the first huddle we've had tonight. Pat Haggerty's crew.
Illegal formation, offense.
The Eagles came out of last week's game with the 49ers really talking among themselves that we suffered a letdown, that we really are a better team than the 49ers.
Mike just had some more coffee.
Minute 9 left in the ball game, Mike. You're up by 2 touchdowns here. Mike. This is not good, Mike. Chill out. Mellow out, Mike.
How to recover from a heart attack. Oh, boy.
Anyway, the Eagles were talking about how they were better than the 49ers, and this was another test for them today. And I think the Eagles, while there's no question that they are an up-and-coming team, can they rightly say that they're on the same level with teams like the 49ers and the Chicago Bears? And looks like we've got a little pushy-shovey going on back about the 45. I mean, it's really I think the jury's still out on the Eagles as to where they are and to whether they are on that upper tier of teams in the National Football League.
They won one against Washington they shouldn't have won. They lost one perhaps they shouldn't have lost against the 49ers, but in doing so, they also gave up over 700 yards to those two ball clubs. They came into tonight after 3 games, 25th against the pass, 11th against the rush, and this is a team noted for their defense.
Well, the Eagles are a ways away with the way they play the pass. They've got to tighten things up in their secondary before they're going to make it upstairs.
Catch is made by Gizmo Williams. He takes it to the 19-yard line. Whoa, Perry at 340. Williams weighs about 180 and is 5'6".
Biggest appliance on the field on the smallest player out there.
Well, Buddy's line about Gizmo was he's not small, he's short. Well, he's now smaller and shorter.
And flatter.
Gizmo again. Lynch and Morrissey in on the tackle. And this one winds down with Chicago on top, 27-13.
What did he also say about it? He's 6'5" on a quarter-inch scale.
Cunningham throws it away. Ed McCaskey, chairman of the board of the Chicago Bears, watching his team on its way to another victory. And again, the Chicago Bears amazingly have not been out of first place since 1983. They've either been in the lead or tied for the lead every week.
And I think if we want to talk about one person tonight that might have been symbolic of the Bears' effort, there he is right there, Dan Hampton. I did not think he was going to be able to play today. This guy has been hobbled all week with a bad knee, and yet he comes out and he plays. He plays the entire ball game. And that is why the Bears are the football team that they are, because he's reflective of their work ethic. And it is one heck of a work ethic.
And tomorrow he goes up to have those knees examined in East Lansing.
And again, the organization that has 10 first-round draft picks out on their roster. And Cam Cunningham, meanwhile, has put the ball up 60 times tonight.
And look at Hampton limp as he tries to walk down the sideline.
We've had 98 passes in the game, and we have a chance for 100 with 14 seconds remaining. And this will set a new Eagle record, the 61st pass of the night.
That'll set one for height.
Intended for Williams, and the wind holds it up as well, and Lynch knocks it down. And that breaks a record set in 1940 by Davey O'Brien. Most passes attempted in a game by an Eagle.
That pass looked like one of Zendejas' kickoffs, only it was about 20 yards longer.
Careened up the Enterprise. Well, these two will get together and have a little cocktail after the game tonight. Chew the fat.
There it is.
Hardly.
The number is 99 passes in the game. There have only been 4 games in the history of the NFL that have seen 100 passes. And this will become game number 5 right here. Your 100th pass of the night is caught. And Garrity will be the answer to a trivia question as he's knocked down at the 42-yard line, and that'll do it. That's as close as those guys will come. A split screen on your television set.
There will be another day, Buddy says.
And Mike has beaten Buddy for the 4th time. He's 4-0 with them. And again, the Eagles are 0 forever in Chicago. They are now 0-13 in the Windy City. Bears lead by 2 in the Central. Eagles trail the Giants by 2 in the East as Chicago wins it 27-13. Al Michaels, Frank Gifford, Dan Dierdorf saying good night from Soldier Field in Chicago with a reminder that Saturday on ABC's College Football, the USC Trojans host the Washington Huskies, or the Ohio State Buckeyes take on the Fighting Illini of Illinois. And next week on Monday Night Football, 2 old AFL rivals square off as the Los Angeles Raiders, with the best record in Monday Night Football history, meet the New York Jets. Now
News conference. Let's go live to Soldier Field and Coach Ditka.
I mean, when you get them out of there, it kind of breaks down that sequence anyway. So there were some good things that we did, and I thought Greg called a very good football game. I thought Vince handled it, the defense excellently. Our coaches did a good job. There's a lot of effort out there. So we're very proud. As I said, maybe a little lucky, and enjoy your hamburgers, boys. Our offensive line is a good offensive line.
Mike, could you talk about overcoming the injuries?
More minutes.
The injury factor.
I think we're okay. Dan's going up tomorrow to Lansing, and I really believe that he'll probably have the scope put in on Wednesday. And then, whatever that means, if there's something in there, they'll do it. If there's nothing, it's still going to be a couple of weeks, 3-4 weeks, after the scope comes out. So I think that's going to be the one thing. I don't know what will happen on the other guys, on Dewerson or Wolfwood, until we get into the middle of the week. I don't think Stinson's bad. I don't think there was anybody else that was bad out there. I think Jay was laying on the table, Hilgenberg, but I don't think that we had any injuries. Hampton is our main concern, and he's a pretty good football player for a guy with one leg, I'll tell you that. He did a heck of a job, and I thought all our kids pitched in and helped out there. I thought a lot of effort from a lot of people. Yes. Terry wants to ask the question. You know who this is? Terry Bannon, Herald American.
Mike, we had a lot of success on rollouts. Was that to avoid the...
Well, we designed those rollouts.
Mike, is there an unusual amount of talking down there, or was it my imagination?
Talking on the field? By who?
The Eagles.
Well, you'd have to ask them how much talking there was going on.
What about Boso?
Bob, you have a question?
Coach, are you surprised that you've gotten off to this good of a start against quality teams?
No, I'm not. We don't ever change our focus, Bob. We don't ever change our goals. Not saying that we'll reach every goal that we set, but we don't ever change that. So you're asking me if we're surprised. I think, no, that I'm not, but I think there are a lot of people who would say, hey, it's pretty hard to believe the Bears could be 4-0 after the 4 games playing Cincinnati, Minnesota, and Philadelphia. But it happened. You know, we must be awfully lucky.
Marianne, Sean Gale is sitting next to me. What a night. What a night for the Bears. What a night for the Bear defense. You go up against Randall Cunningham, and while you didn't shut him down, you intercepted him 4 times, and you really did the job tonight.
Well, we knew he'd come out throwing the ball. I mean, he's a great athlete. Like I told you earlier, he's the one quarterback, I think, in the National Football League that can beat you without wide receivers. I mean, he scrambles around. He keeps pressure on you, so it was a good win for us.
Boy, that's putting it mildly. Now, Hampton, amazing. Isn't that the fact that he's out there on one leg, and he lasted right on through the end of the game. I don't know how he did it, but great pressure all night on Cunningham, and here's your pick. That had to feel sweet.
Yeah, we were in the zone defense, and I tell you what, it was a pump for us to see Hampton dress and get ready for the game because that guy, you know, he's really a boost for our defense.
Well, Sean, it's amazing, too. And you guys were hurt back there. Wolford's hurt, Donnell Wolford, I mean, and Dave Duerson, who's really one of your really ringleaders back there in the secondary. He's out. That put a lot of pressure on you tonight to fill that hole for him at strong safety.
Well, I'll tell you what, David Tate stepped in and he did a very good job. It was, you know, a lot of pressure was on David because Duerson has played so well over the years, and he took the task at hand. I mean, Lemuel Stinson came up and made some good plays. I think as a whole unit in secondary, we're playing very well right now, and we have to keep that up. And when we get some of these guys back that are healthy, like Wolford and Dave Duerson, you can expect a lot more turnovers.
That's not a bad way to start the season, beating the Cincinnati Bengals, beating the Minnesota Vikings, and the Philadelphia Eagles. Love the smell of that grass on your pants here. Man, it's a great game and a great night. Go back in there and get all cleaned up. All right. Sean Gale, thank you very much. A great game for the Bear defense. Lots more to come from the Bear locker room, but that's it for right now. I'll toss it back to you, John and Marianne.
Mike Tomczak. Tim?
Marianne, thank you very much. If I'm not mistaken, first time in your career 3 touchdown passes, but what a night, huh? I mean, you got to feel like a million miles high right now.
Well, I know I can get better. You know, that's the first thing I'm going to say.
That even makes you feel better.
Yeah, it does. I know I can get better. And we had some opportunities out there tonight that we could have capitalized on. You know, I wasn't poised enough in a couple of situations where I could hit Suey and Jim Thornton. I missed him a couple of times, but all in all, putting 27 points on the board, I think it was a great performance tonight.
And I think you'd have to agree, we were much sharper in the second half too. Your reads were really right there, and the execution was just a lot better.
Yeah, I believe that, the first part of the game, we were stopping ourselves. We got some points on the board early, but we were stopping ourselves in the second quarter on a couple of plays. And, he's a scary target right there, Reggie White.
So. Geez, I was surprised you bounced up from that one, or bounced up. But, it's going to take a lot more than that to knock you down.
Yeah, the important thing about tonight's game, we didn't have any sacks. And the one that they did give us a sack on, it was my fault that I fell down on a bootleg play. But we had some big plays, big third down plays. That one right there to Ron Morris was a very big play. And it's here touchdown to McKinnon.
What a catch. What a catch, Mike. This is just amazing by both these guys. But, I don't believe McKinnon held on to that one.
Well, I believe because McKinnon's a fighter, and he loves to catch touchdown passes. And this one here to my hero, Matt Suey. He's fantastic.
You suppose he could have been any more open on that play? You really faked him out with that one.
Yeah, we did a good job with that play there because we brought Matt back across the backfield, and Matt told Coach Dickey he's closing on his touchdown reception record.
Mike, one last thing before we let you go. You mentioned you weren't sacked tonight. I mean, if I'm not mistaken, it's 1 sack in 4 games, and we're talking about the Minnesota Vikings, the Philadelphia Eagles, the Cincinnati Bengals. I mean, this is not chopped liver. These are tremendous pass-rushing teams. Your offensive line is just doing an unbelievable job protecting you.
I agree with you. I'm just going to echo your thoughts. They're playing fantastic football right now. Our offense is only good as our offensive line is going to play right now. And hats off to those boys up front. Fantastic.
Yeah, and as Mike Ditka said, I guess you're going to eat Big Macs now, not French fries, right?
Well, I don't know. I don't know what's going on in the media wars, but we're just happy to come away with the win.
Boy, so are we. Thanks a lot, Mike. Congratulations. Great game. John and Marianne, lots more coming up later from the Bear locker room. In the meantime, back to you.
Okay, thanks, Tim. Thanks to you and Mr. Tomczak there. When we come back, Steve Desher has a forecast for cool weather that could last until the Cubs' playoff game. Later in sports, we'll hear from Eagles coach Buddy Ryan, what he thinks about tonight's game.
I mean, that's drafting well, it's consistency, and well.
Confused about Chicago?